Greetings and salutations, and welcome to Flintlocks and Fireballs, where a handful of mad actors will attempt to survive the turbulent waters of Dungeons and Dragons. I am your host and Dungeon Master Jason Phelps, and I am joined as ever by Robbie Bellekom, Sam Hack-and-Slash-Burns, and Ellie Hacky-Sack-Sparrow.
Mine's still shit. We're at episode 10.
Well,
we are at episode 10!
Like 10!
Happy 10th episode, guys!
Double figures!
Yes! Woo! More than one number!
Yes!
Yay!
This is a significant episode to us for many reasons. First of all, this is the first episode we have recorded since the show went live.
So this is the first episode where we actually know for sure that people are listening. Because episode 1's been out for 6 days and we've had an awful lot of downloads. So many more than we were expecting. And we've also had fan art. We've had our first fan art.
Yeah.
We love you all.
Yeah.
So very, very
especially Eddie Widows. Like, seriously, shout out to this guy. Check out his DeviantArt art page because he was our first ever fan artist. And I think we all cried separately, actually. I think we all welled up at some point.
Yep.
Yeah.
And his pictures are lovely, so you should all go and look at them. I'm sure we've put links all over our Twitter. We did this week when it happened anyway, so maybe we'll put some out again at some point.
You also now know that we record these 9 episodes in advance.
Yeah. So we could actually...
For now, we're probably going to miss a week or two here and there.
Probably.
Slowly catch up.
That's why.
That buffer will slowly degrade over time.
So we could be a really big deal by now. Not now.
Well, I think there's only one group of people we can ask as to whether or not we're a really big deal. So, take it away, future us. Hello, it's Future Jason with messages from the present. This week on Robbie Watch, Robbie is in South Sea from Wednesday. So if you're in South Sea, you can catch her there in Awful Auntie. Also, this week we have more maps than usual. You can find a link to both the Dragon Coast globetrotting map and a map of the city of Crosswater in the episode post for this episode on flintlocksandfireballs.com. We'll also be sharing them on social media when this goes up. And you can also find a simplified battle map for combat later in this episode. Well, that's it for me. Back to you, Past Jason. Okay, as it turns out, our anticipations may have been a little over-optimistic.
Yeah, future us is sounding pretty bad.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that we were able to find that replacement liver.
Jesus.
That went pretty
That could end up super dark if things actually go bad.
I mean, I don't know what you were talking about. I was talking about the barbecue, but... I say that two of our cast are vegetarians, so this makes no difference to the perceived barbecue anyway. But okay, right. Unless we have anything else you guys want to mention?
I don't think so.
Okay then. In which case, it's time for Flintlocks and Fireballs. Our land stands on the sabre's edge.
Our cities are a powder keg.
Brother chains brother, no one's free. A life on land is short, you'll see. So gather your muskets, gather your spears, we'll plunder the shores of Calcinea. No kraken, storm or spell we fear, so come and sail with us, my dear.
Previously on Flintlocks and Fireballs. Our party, having returned from Slavitska's Isle, spent a certain amount of time gathering things back together in Balwick's Bay before departing that place once and for all. After finding out a little bit more about a certain someone that Celestia has been searching for, and discovering Scamp's complete inability to get drunk for the foreseeable future, our band of merry privateers finally engaged in some actual privateering. Sailing after the merchant frigate the Fawn, that while their initial chase was successful and they were caught up in an exchange of broadsides, from which, due to ill luck and poor weather, the Charlie's Regret suffered perhaps a little more than one might expect. It was when the two ships closed in for boarding that a few unexpected elements appeared. The presence of a contingent of trained Orcish soldiers, the unexpected martial capacity of their passenger, and the presence of an entirely unexpected ship's mage, which, as Corzin would know, would not normally be travelling on board a merchant ship. However, despite heavy losses, the crew of the Regret were successful. They managed to capture the Fawn, putting the remaining members of the Fawn's crew into the longboats and packing them off with 3 days' rations of food and water and best wishes, while capturing the Orcs and their apparent mistress, one Lady Greta von Schmidt, in the expectation of a 3,000 gold crown ransom. Scamp was able to perform vital repairs to the mast and other elements of the Fawn, allowing it to be sailed with a very, very skeleton crew back towards Crosswater. But before that happens, there is one more matter that needs to be addressed. It is still the 23rd of Falling Leaves. It's been about 2 hours since the fight, and the three of you, and the rest of the crew of the Fawn, find yourselves at a grim but necessary task. The bodies of the crews that fought, both those of the Regret and of the Fawn, have been dragged up onto the decks. Long rolls of canvas have been brought out to eventually shroud their forms. But in the world of Calcinea, especially after a battle, you cannot leave bodies unburied. With the absence of a ship's priest, there is no one able to do the necessary rites to successfully guarantee that the dead will not rise again without properly preparing the bodies. The Regret's supply of hand axes are issued out to those of you on the deck, and the grim work of decapitating the corpses has begun. Corzin, that bastard's neck sinew finally comes off! You've been hacking at this for 3 minutes straight!
You sure this guy wasn't a furbolg? Yeah. So would I be gathering the heads in one pile, the bodies in another?
No, an effort is being made to keep the heads and bodies together. You know from experience that it's generally considered, once you've separated the head from the body, they're not likely to come back. It's the reason why you made sure to decapitate Seaman Stringer Smith after you killed them.
An out-of-character question.
Yes.
How many were decapitating each?
Oh, because...
Can I not be there?
Yeah. As, frankly, the ship's boys as a whole, you included Scamp, are given a pass from this, if needed. But with the number of still active members of the crew, only about only about 12 of the crew are still up, of the fighting crew are still up and fighting, as it were, still up and active, and the ordinary sailors aren't given this duty. It's part of the double pay you get, the expectation of dealing with this. And, well, the Fawn lost about 30 crew members, and the Regret about 50. So it's balancing out around 7 to 8 heads each.
Okay, I'm gonna literally just turn to Scamp before it's time to be like, go below right now. You don't need to see this. Just get downstairs immediately. Go.
Do you want Friend to help?
I think Friend should maybe sit with you and distract you.
Friend points out, bad news. In the kind of form I can manifest, I'm pretty limited in what I can do. I mean, I could lift an axe and drop it, but I can't really cut with enough force to sever.
That sounds pretty awful.
Yeah.
Could you just distract them instead?
You can't hear.
Oh,
hear
yeah, shit. No,
yeah,
I
only,
erased that. I'm so
only
sorry.
Scamp can hear, Friend.
Okay. Let's go do some colouring.
Yeah, right. Scribble some things. Cover your ears. Enjoy.
My ears are really big.
Fold your ears.
Oh.
Fold them over. Have a nice time.
Okay.
It takes around about another hour.
I'm going to
get
roll
through
a con save to see if Celestia
Yeah.
throws up.
Yeah.
It's a 15, but
To be honest, you throw up. You only throw up at the very end.
I only throw up once.
You only throw up when you've finished.
Right.
You kind of keep it all down until you've done the last of your 8 heads.
And then I fall on over the side of the ship. And just, stay hanging over there, breathing in the fresh air for a few minutes. Because I've just chopped off 7 heads.
Yeah.
After Corzin has done the first one, he puts the hand axe to one side and sends someone back to the Charlie's Regret to get his bones saw.
Yeah. Your assistant, a young halfling woman, returns with your full surgeon's bag. And, you get to work quickly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. That was a
Trust
horribly
me,
good
it's
noise.
easier this way.
And a lot quicker.
Really? I mean,
You,
the axe is at least sort of clean cuts. I mean, I just saw, splitting stuff when you did that.
It's less labour intensive, trust me.
Right, okay.
and indeed, you finish your task in about half the time that everyone else does, which is good because you almost immediately have to head back to the Regret to to engage in triage.
Yeah. Who's captaining the Fawn, taking it back to...
It appears that First Mate Vieg will be heading the skeleton crew on the Fawn.
Makes sense.
Yeah. After an hour of this particularly grim work, the Vieg, who's been overseeing this, calls out, "All right, wrap them up. Everyone take half an hour, get a rum ration, and then we'll hold the funeral." Which gives you time as well, Corzin, to finish all of the immediate work you need to do.
Yeah, I wait
I was going to say, how many
until...
people are hurt?
Quite a few. Can you roll a medicine check for me, please?
Yep.
Ooh, this better not be bad. Oh, God.
I'm not killing any of my own men today. Although possibly I am.
Oh, shit. You didn't roll a 1, did you?
No, that's a 9.
Ooh, not good.
You save those you can. Do you have any healing magic left?
Yes. I think I only cast Hunter's Mark in that thing, so I have 2 lots of Cure Wounds left.
Okay, you can expend those to save 2 more people.
Done.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, you know that you have to ration potions, but healing magic you can be a bit.
Could
more
I also
liberal.
use my healer's kit?
I'm assuming you are. essentially.
Yeah.
Like this, you have your full surgeon's kit on board.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, probably
You
some people have
save-
lost limbs, but
You save a little over half of the men and women under your care. I'm going to say there were about, let's see, of the 50 that got killed or wounded, say 30 of them were incapacitated rather than killed outright. You save 15 people. A few of them are going to need, more than one of them is going to need the attention of the ship's carpenter for replacement limbs, unfortunately. You know, you do save 2 people from needing watcher wheels as peg legs with your healing healing magic, but others, no, they were caught in cannonball fire. Still, though, you save 15 lives, and the regret has just a few extra crew still alive. Crew who will live to receive their pay as well, which they will be which is some small recompense. So,
I wait until the last body is wrapped up before I call Scamp back up.
yeah. Once the bodies are wrapped up, everyone is back up on deck with Captain Brandy standing in front of the rest. Well, I'm not a priest, but everyone here, be they friend or foe, fought their hardest. They died doing what they were best at. Some of them didn't storm the deck. Some of them were just sailors, like us. Some of them were us. But they all died like heroes. And I pray to the Regent and all the saints that they find rest and their just reward in the Vale beyond. And he touches his chest, his lips, and his forehead in the sort of classical sign of blessing for the Regent. All right, lads and lasses, let's put him over the edge.
While this is happening, Celestia's going to start up a funeral song. So she's going to go, "Oh, the work was hard and the wages low. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. I guess it's time for us to go, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the wind don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her."
You sing your song. Many of the crew join in to the old shanty as the crew begin the work of taking the wrapped bodies and passing them up towards the gangplank one by one. They are deposited into the ocean. There's a quiet moment while Bosun Solder moves around with a keg of rum, pouring out cups for everyone. And finally, it's just a moment where sailors individually and eventually as a whole raise their cups to the departed souls and drink.
I spend the evening singing funeral songs for the sailors.
Before that happens, there is a little bit more. Right, you all have your tasks to be getting back to. Officers meeting in my Officers meeting in my cabin. And he looks over to the three of you. Scamp, Celestia, you come too.
What?
Okay.
You're led. You all head into the captain's cabin. I think at one stage or another you've all been in there. It's a rather impressive stateroom. Currently, there is a hole in the wall where a cannonball came through and then destroyed part of the rear-facing window, which Brandy sort of shakes his head at, but sits down at the comfortable chair, screwed into the floor behind the desk. You all take positions in a sort of half circle around his desk. So, and he looks over to, I believe it's Solder, I think I've said? Yes, over to Bosun Solder. What's the current situation with the cargo? Solder, human woman, tan skin, tight brown hair. Well, I've had a look, and it's not terrible news. The Thorn had just shy of 500 tons of cotton cloth. I'd say probably from the colonies, as most likely they'd been making the trip back from Sunda, gone through the South Cape, past Cairn. They've been selling it off to suppliers on the way north. And at this point, Vig interrupts. I can confirm this. I had a word with Arnold, the orc, in charge of those soldiers we captured. It seems that they had met up with the Fawn while they were making stuck in the middle of discussions of sale with a cloth with an arrangement of tailors in Bolwick's Bay, and had persuaded them with some money to stay a little bit longer while Lady Greta finished her work. Apparently that's the reason they were staying so long in port. Right, says Solder. In any case, I reckon once we get to Crosswater, I know a few people, and particularly with that letter of marque, meaning you can sell to legitimate merchants, I should not be surprised if we can make, I want to say maybe 40% of the market rate. So we're looking at maybe 120 gold crowns per ton. Now, and she turns to you and Scamp, don't get too excited by those numbers. You might not be aware of how the split works on the privateer. Half of the money from everything we sell goes to the Crown of Seoul. And by return, we are not executed as pirates. And we can sell to legal wholesalers like I'm planning to do. Another quarter of it will go to me so that I can pay for things like replenishing stores, equipment and repairing the ship. And the ship is going to need probably a week in dry dock, Captain. Quick reminder, by the way, 1 week is 10 days in the Regency calendar.
Oh, good clarification.
Yes.
Yeah.
Out of character, I needed that, yeah.
I think in character probably needed that.
You don't know how time works, of course, yeah.
No.
You've
But
never had to organise your time into weeks before, have you?
yeah, that's true.
Just organised into what food you could get.
Yeah. But the good news is, with the crew that are getting their care, common sailors are getting single shares. Everyone who fought on the deck in the charge at the end will be getting double shares. Officers such as myself, Corzin, and such, and of course Wheels, will be getting triple shares. V grins and says, I actually get 4 shares. And the captain goes, the captain goes, and I get a 10th on account of it's my name on the letter of marque. And he gestures behind him, and you can see framed on the wall there is a gold-edged long piece of paper with a lot of cursive writing on it, starting with His Majesty, the King of Seoul, by the grace of his name, Leon the 13th, hereby grants, and then a whole lot of small writing, and then finally, at the bottom, Captain Marlin Brandy.
Still can't believe you guys called him that. Fuck off.
We didn't do anything. This is all Jason.
So,
definitely you had a hand in this.
yes, yes. So, what that means is, what do you reckon that's going to mean for payday, Solder? Well, I would say, common sailors, we can expect to get, with the money we get from selling the fawn as well, maybe 150 gold crowns.
What do you reckon we'll get for the fawn?
I reckon we'll get about half of its value, so maybe 5 grand.
Wow.
Yeah.
None too shabby.
Yeah, well, it's not kitted out fully for war, and it is an estate, but it's manageable enough that with a month or two of repairs, it'll make some cut price merchant a very, very happy customer. And frankly, I'm going to be spending most of my quarter repairing this ship. I don't have the money to be outfitting a second ship, and at this point, Brandy cuts in. And with the current state of the war being what it is, I would not be surprised if we only have another couple of months before a peace treaty is declared, and we'll have to wait for the next war before our letter of marque becomes valid again. That will take up piracy, which I will not abide, or even legitimate sailing. Ugh.
That sounds desperately dull.
I got my start on a 2-bit brig, trading rough spun wool. It was. There's a reason I saved up for buying the letter of marque. In any case, what that means is, Celestia, you can expect to receive maybe 300 gold as your share.
Thank you.
Corzin, you can expect to receive 450.
Thank you, sir.
And Scamp, there's a reason I brought you in here.
Oh.
You're a bit young, lad, but you've got a talent to you. And we've got a vacant position, which I think you might be able to fill if you're looking for it. Means the difference between a double share for fighting and a triple share for an officer position. See, we're looking for someone to be ship's mage.
Right.
Think it over. You've got till we sell all of the loot and start divvying up the proceeds. If when it's payday, you decide you want to be ship's mage, you tell me, you'll get a triple share.
Don't you have to be trained and licensed and stuff?
Well, I'm sure that if any assessors were to come in, you'd be you would officially be an assistant gunner's mate.
Okay.
But I don't really anticipate that happening.
Okay.
Besides, it's not like we're the official navy.
That amount of money when I was your age, lad, would have turned my head.
Stop! regardless, I'm sure that Watcher, and he nods to Carpenter Wheels, will be very happy with your assistance during the trip back to Crosswater. There's a lot of repairs that she could get done a lot faster with your assistance.
Sure.
Good. Glad to hear it. Right then, I think that's everything. Dismissed. Get back to your posts. It is going to take us about 3 days from here to get both of these ships limping back into harbour. And you are dismissed from Captain Brandy's chamber.
As we walk out the door, I'm going to ruffle Scamp's hair and go, "Look at you, ship's mage. Getting official, are we?"
I'm going to have to kill lots of people, aren't I?
Not necessarily, but that does tend to go with the territory of being a privateer.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll just repair lots of masts.
I'm good at that.
You are. You did very well on the other one. Maybe that's the bit of today you should focus on.
I like fixing things more than breaking things, I think.
Yeah.
Guns were more fun when they were theoretical.
Yeah.
By the way, how did you learn all about cannons and guns?
Yeah, you've never told us.
I've got small hands. I can be useful to people.
What kind of people? You're like an apprentice or something?
No, they get paid.
Oh.
I got food, so I guess maybe. But then they went away. It always happens. I work with people for a bit, then they leave, or they get bored.
How did you get bored of you? You're very exciting. Idiots.
I wasn't magic then. I was just weird.
Weird is
How
good.
did you first find out that you could do all these things?
It's different for everything, I guess. I still find new things. That's fun. Usually it happens because it needs to.
I can relate to that. I honestly thought that, there was a time not that long ago where I was caring for a crewman and I knew for a fact he was a goner. But then this, and he gestures to the spirit that is sort of arcing around his shoulder.
Which only Celestia can see.
Your shoulder?
He's got very big shoulders, Scamp. Don't underestimate the power of them.
It arrived, and
At this point, friend actually mentioned something to you, Scamp. You know, it's a shame you can't see it. It's quite a nice little customer. Looks like a bunch of silvery scales just floating in midair. Also, there's a very strange octopus there. Less said about that one.
Everyone can see things I can't.
but you can see. Sorry, did you say that out loud?
Yes. I said that. Friend didn't.
I'm not sure you
Right,
finished
okay.
your sentence, Sam.
All right.
My apologies.
He says, but this... No, it's fine. But this spirit turned up, and for whatever reason, I was able to use its power to heal him. And that was a man... I've seen that type of injury before. He was going to... He'd lost too much blood. And there was going to be no way of getting him to shore fast enough. But he's alive, and that's the point, actually. Is that particular crew member still alive?
He is!
no.
Alton Appleblossom!
I thought it was called Apple Blossom.
Yes, he was not part of the crew that did the charging. But he did survive. He wasn't even hit by a cannonball.
Wow.
Hey.
All right,
quite
no, I
lucky.
thought best to check that, and his name had temporarily escaped me.
But actually, as you're walking across the deck and mentioning this, Apple Blossom happens. You can actually see Apple Blossom up on the rigging, mending rope.
I point him out, just so him up there.
He kind of
I
waves
remember
down.
him.
Hello.
Hi.
I sort of wave up to him jauntily, and I say, if anyone ever tells you that some people should be alive and others shouldn't, remember that guy.
Yeah, funny thing, magic, isn't it? Does seem to turn up when you're not expecting it to, when you need it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, mine were about for a bit, but they didn't do anything for a while until I really needed them to.
Well, it's not for us really the reason why, but I'm just glad they were there to make a difference when they were.
Yeah.
Do I have any of the floaty things that I can't see?
Not that we can see.
Oh.
Well, not that I can see. Corzin, can you see anything?
You've never
I think
seen
you're-
any floating around Scamp.
Okay.
With the exception briefly of Friend when he manifested.
Right. So there's that friend of yours who turned up on Slavitska's Isle, but other than that, I think your magic comes from a different place.
I think yours might be like in you, whereas ours is sort of on us, isn't it? Like ours follows us around. I think yours is maybe just in there somewhere. I gesture to all of them.
So I am still weird.
You're not weird. Well, you are weird, but you should embrace it. Weird is good. Take it from someone who knows.
Most people who meet me think I'm weird for a halfling.
You are weird.
I tend to take that as a compliment these days. But, you know, they think halflings, they think, you know, overfed layabouts who'd rather stay at home with their feet up rather than someone who...
I didn't think that. I thought you'd be a farmer.
As you're saying this, you can actually see 3 of the halfling crew members are walking past on their way to their to their tasks, and they are absent-mindedly just pulling rations out of their pockets and eating them as they walk. You suddenly remember. It suddenly occurs to you that Corzin, that it is just about supper time actually now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say, which halfling meal is it?
That's supper, but not pre-midnight snack.
Right. Yeah.
Of the 12 halfling meals.
I
Yep.
want 12 meals. Great life.
Well, there's an actual practical reason for this, is that we're a lot smaller than you and our metabolism works faster.
Oh, so you're not just, like, eating all the time because you're a greedy fucker then?
It's a common misconception that halflings are gluttonous.
I mean, I suppose you're very small and you do have to try and keep up with the rest of the ship. And you're very strong, so...
And keep up we do, as I'm sure you'll have noticed.
Yes, I'll give you that. You're stronger than me. And I'm, like, nearly 3 of you.
Even Corzin finds this amusing.
So, you head back to your tasks, and the next 3 days pass sluggishly because of the state of both ships, and in a constant haze of overwork. Everyone is pulling double shifts in order to get the ships back. But with 3 solid days of work, it does happen. And on I'm going to say, around in the early afternoon of the 26th of falling leaves, you begin to arrive at Crosswater, sailing along the coast into the Viridian Bay, and to the city itself.
As we're sailing in, I would like to smoke some opium, please.
Okay, do.
Just so that's on the record.
Crosswater sprawls. As the Regret approaches the lazy, wide mouth of the River Cross, the squat outer buildings of the city seem to spread horizon to horizon. Extensive docks crowd the river's edges, with canals and quays cut deeper into the land for the loading and offloading of large cargo ships, such as the huge, high-sailed Haldanosmen that make the trip to distant Haldanos for tea, silk, and spices. Deeper in, high bridges permit the travel of smaller vessels and the crossing of foot traffic, and both river and bridge are crowded alike, the former by scores of vessels making to and from dock, the latter by a thick press of people, horses, cattle, and wagons. The city clamour is audible even as you approach, a distant buzz of commerce, argument, jubilance, and the occasional scream. 3 great walls have at different times attempted to encircle the city, each one more impressive than the last, and each time the city has resolutely ignored them and grown beyond. Much of the city's sprawl extends beyond the outermost walls, although the central ring does boast a squat, yellow stone fortress that likely serves as the city's main armoury and centre of government. Meanwhile, in the outer ring, you can just spot the white rising tower of what Alton Appleblossom, who has been here before, informs you to be the city's university. But as you pull into dock, one other thing dominates the wharves. A huge quay has been appointed to the supply and mooring of naval warships, complete with adjoining dry docks. You can see the tall masts and thick hulls of a number of ships of the line, mammoth vehicles bristling with scores of cannon, in port for repair or relaxation. But dwarfing even a first-rate ship in size, however, is the beast resting in its own portion of the quay. Perhaps 500 feet in length, nearly 100 feet wide, it looks only very loosely like any other creature you've ever seen. 4 massive reptilian limbs extend from its body, tipped with claws the size of trees, both limbs and claws webbed for better purchase in the water. A long, thick, webbed tail curls around its body as it rests, counterpoint to a massive head, flanked by an enormous pair of horns and 2 relatively tiny eyes, yellow and slitted, each no bigger than a dinghy. It snorts a spray of water from huge nostrils as if snoring. In comparison to its mottled black and brown body, the beast's entire back is covered in a horned carapace of dark, shimmering blue-green, reflecting the sunlight like dappled water. The carapace is not uniform, however. At frequent intervals, steel domes topped with what appear to be glass have been set into the carapace, most of which have open portholes from which the recognisable form of thick cannon barrels emerge. Corzin, you in particular, would peg a number of these as being 64-pounder carronades.
Oh.
Wow.
As you watch, a boat sails up to the creature's head. Its jaws open lazily, revealing rows of teeth, and the boat begins to pour tons of fish directly into its mouth from nets on the boat's deck. A long, prehensile tongue licks up any missed fish, and then the beast's jaws close, and the boat sails on its way. First mate Vig, actually no, you're on the main ship, so Captain Brandy, who's seeing the ship on deck as the ship is sailing in, goes, "Well then," and he looks to you and to the Celestia and Scamp. "Welcome to Crosswater."
What the fuck is that?
That is a fortress beast. Well, the marine version of them. It's one of about... I think Brighthall has 5 of them in total. Yeah, I'm going to say 5. Sounds about right. They're... well, let me put it this way. I mean, I don't know if they have stories about this where you come from. When you were a kid, did you ever hear the tales about how the Regent slew the Tarrasque?
No.
Have you heard of the Tarrasque?
No.
Nope.
I'm going to assume Corzin has.
Yeah, Corzin, you know as much of this tale as I told you. So feel free to cut in at any point.
I think
Right.
maybe we had different fairy stories where I'm from.
Right. Well, I mean, it's not a fairy story, you know, it's history. About 2,000 years, well, earlier than that, about 1,800 years ago, a bit shy of that, shortly after the Regent was first recognised as the one true god, she united the disparate and quelling peoples of the collapsing Tyrian Empire and formed an army, marched at their head, and slew the Tarrasque. And the Tarrasque was this huge beast that was wandering all over Haldanos, and it was just marching everywhere, eating everything in its path. And from what the tales tell, it was like a mile wide, half a mile high, and it would just consume whole towns and villages as it went. So it had to be stopped, and though it cost a lot of people's lives, they did. And but here's the thing: when they killed it, what they didn't know was that it had laid eggs. So,
Wow. How big were the eggs? Were they...
I mean, I don't know. They're
big,
probably
like-
massive.
Mm.
I don't.
And how did they not notice if they were so big?
Well, I assume that she laid them in a nest somewhere and then fucked off to do more eating.
How did you not notice a big fuck-off nest?
I don't know. Someone did, though, because they stole the eggs.
Oh. Fair enough.
Yeah. From what I mean, this is me remembering from Regent's Day school, but from what I understand, they did know about the nest, and they went there and they destroyed as many of the eggs as they could find. But some folk, some bastard high elves, no offense, you're not a high elf.
I'm not a high elf,
Yeah,
don't worry.
they made off with a few of the eggs, and they hid them in Haldanos, and those were the first fortress beasts, and they learned to breed them, and eventually, well, they got betrayed by the hobgoblins, killed, and then the hobgoblins took over raising the fortress beasts, and when the great Khan, when she came and invaded Jova 700 years ago, whenever it was, she brought a ton of fortress beasts. And then, she died, the empire fell apart. But in Meadmere and Brighthall, they kept the fortress beasts, they learned how to breed them, and they learned how to make the versions that swim as well.
And I guess they learned how to make them not, eat entire towns.
Well, yes, that was sort of the thing. Although they do have an appetite, and he gestures towards where
Is the fish still happening?
No. The several tons of fish have now been fed to this thing, and it's
Okay.
now just snorting from its nostrils again, snoring away.
How do they get it not to eat them?
As
Like,
I
is it
understand,
intelligent? Does it understand? Right.
from what I understand, it's about as intelligent as a horse. So it's a huge thing, but I reckon they must train it the way they train giant eagles. They have a few of them around it from birth, and then mostly the same crews on it, and so it knows that they're friends and doesn't try and eat them. And also they have to keep feeding it, because if it gets hungry, it probably would go wild and start killing people. But imagine you're a giant hungry monsters. Are you going to go on a rampage, or would you rather sit still and let people bring you food? Makes sense.
Suppose it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that there is one of the jewels of Brighthall's navy. And they got a
It's
few...
a floating fortress.
Pretty
basically,
much.
Isn't it?
Yeah, they've got a few land-based ones as well, although they're a bit smaller.
Well,
I heard that those things can go 10,000 ton.
10,000
So I've heard.
tons. Bloody hell.
They used to use them to siege castles and bee castles as well. You can build a castle on the back of one.
Sure, that'd be a bit difficult, wouldn't it? When you have to get it to stay still for a really long time.
Well,
Or do they stay still for a really long time? I mean,
he gestures over to the one in the key, who is, apart from opening its mouth to eat, not moved at all. And now that you peer, you can just see there are a couple of tiny figures inside one of the kind of glass and steel domes on its back. And one of them appears to go, you can just make out they're going down some steps into what appears to be into its carapace.
oh, like inside it.
Wow.
Apparently they figured out a way of tunneling through it.
Without hurting it.
Gross.
Ew.
Well, that carapace is as thick as rock.
Thicker. They say, they used to say, before cannons were invented, that only adamantine could crack that carapace. As it turns out, several hours of sustained cannon fire will as well.
Well, adamantium we know
know.
about down below. Well, you learn something new every day.
Right, let's get the ship. We're going to get these ships into dock, work on selling our loot in the other one, and then I'm going to get pissed drunk. And I insist that you three do the same.
Well, I
Oh
can
no!
try.
What a terrible
Aye, sir.
order! You're such a mean captain.
Okay. The pair of ships find docks, and the other officers begin the process of trying to sell various elements. But the three of you and much of the crew are very relieved to get to be on shore leave, and it's complete shore leave as well, as the Regret is going fully into dry dock for a week. There's no need for anyone to stand watch over it, because it just needs to be taken out of the water and repaired.
Week, which is 10 days.
A
I'm going
10-day
to remember
week, yep.
this. It's really hard to
I'm
adjust
not.
that in your head. It's really difficult.
Yeah, as you find yourselves marching, and next to the docks, there's a big sort of marketplace, and it's just full of all manner of different shops.
Sweets?
There are sweets. You can
Yes!
you can buy sweets. They're about the same price as in Bulwark's Bay. Actually. Yeah, but there is actually a bigger variety of them, and they do more interesting things. There is someone there who has what looks like they've got long streams of caramel that they make kind of sculpt into shapes. Like there's one, he does it on a hot pan and shapes it into like a dragon, and then takes it off on a stick. And
I'm going to buy us all caramel dragons.
Okay, they're a copper each. So
I'm doing it.
yeah,
Everyone's having
you
one.
buy three copper
Okay.
caramel dragons.
Corzin isn't going to say no.
There's all sorts of people. You pass one halfling. There's a halfling sat on the sidewalk on a little stool with like a big pad and charcoal, and is just doing pencil sketches of people, selling them for copper, like for 2 coppers a sketch. And you can see there's a crumpled old hat next to him with a sign crudely scrawled in common, Eddie's Tips, written on the side of it. There's also a halfling child, sort of, teenage, so 2 feet tall, calling next to a large stack of what appeared to be broad sheets of paper. Get your Crosswater Sentinel! Failed attempt to retake St. Gregorsville! Sundered port remains with the Orcs! Get your Crosswater Sentinel! Only 2 coppers!
Here you are, lad. 2 coppers.
I'm going to
He passes you the broadsheet newspaper.
just
Okay.
when the little kid's out of earshot, I'm going to nudge Corzin and go, Oi, Corzin. He's even smaller than you, mate.
He's wearing a little flat cap and everything.
Oh,
You'd think they would have picked somebody with better projection, just saying.
He's all of about 14. Give the guy a break.
It's true. It's very high pitched. He's going to wear his voice out if he carries on that way.
Thank you very kindly, sir. Crosswater Sentinel! I'll attempt to retake St. Gregorsville!
I love him so
It's like
much.
the fantasy version of the squeaky voiced teen from The Simpsons, isn't it?
And yeah, looking
Star
at
Wars.
looking at the newspaper, a lot of it is quite dry local news. This is apparently a daily newspaper. It's got the date printed at the top. The Crosswater Sentinel, 26 falling leaves, 1797. Still only 2 copper. And the main article is talking about the war, the Sunder War going over in the continent of Sunder. And yeah, it seems that the Sulian forces attempted to retake the port of St. Gregorsville after it was captured by Osirians, but alas, after a 3-day battle, they were driven back, and it looks like that particular port is going to stay Osirian. So the continued ill news in the war with Osirian and Sul. So, you guys are in a new town?
This means that we'll probably be in a job for a little while longer.
Very true. I guess we don't really want the war to end, do we? Which is a strange thing.
So, you are in a new town? What do you guys want to do?
So I need to stop into the statue garden and see if we can get any information about this sculptor man.
Yeah.
Do you want to come?
Well, I've got no other plans. I was going to make myself sick on sweets, but this works
We
too.
can still do
Well,
that.
there's plenty of time for that.
You can have sweets while we go. I see no reason why you can't.
Oh, I definitely will.
Although, seriously, a word to the wise, look after your teeth. My great-grandfather, he was saying, look after your teeth, you only get 1 pair, and they only give you grief in the end.
This is actually a valid point, because I didn't really do this before. I'm going to say, because you had 3 days to get here, your addiction counter would have eventually dropped down, but I'm going to ask you to roll an opium addiction check to see whether you
I'm going to assume I
re-addicted.
was too busy to smoke.
You were too busy to
while
smoke,
we were...
and you just, with 3 days, you just got over, the addiction wore off.
So it would have reset
What we
to
were doing.
0.
Yeah, it's reset to 0.
11.
Okay,
Still
that's...
at 0, is it?
Yes, yeah, is that...
Oh, no, that's 10.
10.
Because
Still
I have
0,
shit
because that
con.
is the DC without any addiction.
Okay, cool.
So you are
I'm...
not currently addicted to opium.
How exciting.
Yeah, you're
Such a
just
luxury.
casually smoking it.
Casual puffing away.
So, okay, asking around for directions, it's not too hard to find the statue garden. You make your way into the second circle of the city, and into quite a nice sort of middle to higher class sort of area. In stark contrast to Casimir's enterprise of the Stuck Pig, the sculptor's domain appears to be a very legitimate, high-class cafe and wine bar. Much of the establishment is open air, set in a quaint courtyard with a number of circular tables and chairs beneath parasols, and it's quite a sunny day today. You're quite glad you've got your sunglasses on. And dotted artistically at frequent intervals are plinths with statues of various figures, mostly humans and halflings, but you do spot an orc, and there is one sculpture of 3 dwarves sat on a bench applauding. All of the statues have been carved into aesthetically pleasing poses, often poised in dance, some displaying feats of athleticism, and each one has a variant of a pleasant expression, many laughing or cheering, some with more demure or even seductive sort of smiles. Many of the well-dressed clientele are commenting idly on the statues as they enjoy their coffee or glasses of wine. About a third of the statue garden is located within a building that sports a fine neoclassical facade and a number of aesthetic false columns, some of which also bear statues. The bar is staffed by a tall, fair-skinned elf with blonde hair, blue-grey eyes, and an immaculate black vest and skirt. Hello. So, welcome to the statue garden. Would you care for coffee, wine, some refreshments?
Yes, what would you two like?
I suppose we'd better start with a coffee, otherwise it might be a long day.
Oh,
Okay, could we have 2 coffees and 1 milk if you have it? And also, I have a bit of an inquiry to make.
Of course.
I was wondering if there are any sculptors in town. I'm looking for a statue of a fisherman. I was wondering if you knew anyone who could do that.
I'm afraid our resident sculpture is not available for commissions. It will be 2 silver for the coffees and 3 copper for the milk. And might I recommend one of our private rooms for your to have a pleasant chat and some coffee in.
Of course.
Yes. She takes the money and...
It was 2 silver and 3 copper.
Yes.
Yep, cool. I pay for them.
Directs you towards... She prepares the coffee for the pair of you, including a small bowl of sugar and a spoon, sets it all on a tray and carries it into a room along with a generous glass of milk. And it is just a small room inside the third one of the part of the third of the statue garden that is interior. It is lit by a small sort of a curious oil lantern hanging from the ceiling with 3 flames set in a little like a little safety glass, which provides a kind of subdued amount of light, but enough to talk by and possibly read by. There's a circular table there with 4 comfortable chairs arranged. She sets the tea in the middle. There you go. I do hope you enjoy your coffee.
Thank you.
She nods and departs.
This is quite nice, isn't it?
Do you think the statues were people once?
Why do you always
They're
go
not
to the
big
worst option? This is called the statue garden. It's all sculptors. It could just be nice artwork.
Well, we met chickens that made people into statues the other day.
I don't see any chickens.
Okay, first off, they turn people to stone, not statues. Slight difference. Second off, look around you. These sculptures we got here, if they were real people once, they were real people about 6 inches high.
Actually, the statues, I will make a note, the statues are all life-size, and they are beautifully done.
I'll take that all back.
But they are all done in sort of poses of jubilation. They have broad smiles and cheers on their faces.
Well, darling, if they were turned into stone by giant chickens, they look pretty fucking happy about it, don't they?
Maybe that's what some people are into.
We need to get you, like, in a normal child environment at some point, because you're getting really fucked up.
At this point, the door opens.
I, hurriedly just look normal.
And
Act casual.
and as far as you can tell, the same elf comes back in. Although this time she is dressed completely differently. She's wearing a green dress with a petticoat and has apparently put on makeup and rouge.
How long has she been away?
About 3 minutes.
That's impressive. She's got entirely changed and put a face on in 3 minutes. It's amazing.
Magic.
She,
but I
Call
want
Or
it.
a different person.
Oh, it could be a whole
Twins.
different...
is in, and you can see she's carrying her own cup of coffee, which you recognise as she puts it down and takes a seat to be the same darkness as the time you got the Quadruple Express.
Oh, wow.
Hello, yes, absolutely. Pleasure to meet you all.
Celestia Stardust, nice to meet you.
She shakes your hand demurely and gives it a small kiss. Hello. Hello. Yes, my name is Veldrina. You might have met my sister Valdania out here. So, I understand that you are looking for someone to deal, and she kind of sips her coffee reflexively, with some sculpting issues. Do you have anything in particular that you might be offering to trade for this sort of
I have this. I take off the ring.
She extends her hand, plucks it away with a kind of slightly jittery movements, takes another sip of coffee.
She's had enough.
Holds it over. Yes. That looks to be the Viper.
Yes.
She takes the ring, pockets it.
He sends his regards.
So, yes, we did receive a message that someone might be coming by with his words, and they might have a request. So, please, tell me, what do you need?
I'm looking...
Oh, forgive me, of course. I am the sculptor's right-hand woman.
Oh, lovely to meet you. I'm tracking a ship called the Scarlet Wind. I'm looking for somebody on the ship, and I'd like to find out any information about where it is, or where it's going, or there's a load of slaves on there that they took from a ship called the Saber's Fancy, and I'm looking to find out where they're going, where they're being sold.
Now that is
details.
something we can help you with. We do have connections with every black market of note on this continent. So, that is something we could assist you with. I could put out some feelers, take a listen, see when the ship comes into port, and make you aware of that. Now, as to the price.
Yes.
By default, I would normally charge a price of 1,000 gold crowns for this sort of service. However...
Celestia keeps her poker face at this, but Scamp and Corzin probably see the twitch.
However, the Viper's recommendation implies that the three of you are friends of Fisher Kings. Now, if I may be blunt, I don't know you from Adriana or Bob, as it were. So I'm not going to take the Viper's word on it. But what I can do is I can offer you a trade. If you're willing to do a little job for us, I can waive that fee and just see around about arranging it. Now tell me, of the three of you, where would you say your specialty lies? Are you fighters, thieves, swindlers, assassins?
Problem solvers.
Yes,
Problem
we're
solvers.
Fairly flexible.
I like
like
that.
that.
She takes another draft of coffee. So, well, we have 3 problems we need solving. If you solve any of these problems, I will consider that fair payment. Of course, if you really want, you could also solve some of the 2 or even all of these problems for us, and we would pay you in good old-fashioned hard cold cash. So, I have 3 problems. See if any of these strike your fancy. The first one is a bit of, I suppose you could call it a monster problem. We had a customer pay us to smuggle in some very entertaining contraband that proved to be a little more entertaining than we would like. The package in question was supposed to be quiescent. Unfortunately, it hatched while it was in storage, awaiting further delivery to its intended recipient. Now, that particular contract has been cancelled because we were not properly informed of the situation. However, the creature in question did kill the entire team we sent down to collect it, and the team after that we sent down to kill it. And it's currently occupying one of our main routes through the city storm drains, which is, as you can imagine, is putting a bit of a crimp on our ability to move freely through town.
Any ideas what it is?
Only one of our assistants, let's call them, managed to get back, and they did that because they ran as soon as they caught a glimpse of it.
That seems sensible.
Yes.
What did it look like?
He only caught a very quick glimpse of it, but from what I understand, it was something akin to a giant crab. As far as you could tell, it some sort of giant crab or crab-like creature with tentacles in its mouth that just started killing everyone it saw.
Crab.
All right,
Tentacles in its
Corzin
mouth.
he goes a little bit distant for a few moments and says, "It's a chull."
What?
A what?
A chull.
Okay, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I mean, it's clearly a bad one.
I mean, you're looking a bit... How bad is it?
If it's just one, then I think we've got a fair chance of taking it down.
We did only bring the one egg.
Right.
So the good news is it can't have bred down there, unless it's one of those freakish things that reproduce without needing a mate.
Parthenogenesis. I mean,
Wouldn't-
what? No, I don't know.
You definitely don't know that one.
Wouldn't take the risk if I were you. Those things can do an awful lot of damage.
Yes, this one already has, and we'd like that to stop. So, if you take that up and sort that problem, I don't care how you really get rid of it. Kill it, trap it, crush it under rocks. Maybe, I don't care if you steal it away and release it into the sea. So long as it's out of our sewers, we'll consider that job sorted. The second job is sport of identity theft. Right, so...
We have one person in our party who's quite good at that.
Okay, excellent. So, there is a bit of an issue. We need some documents stolen from a visiting gentleman, and which would include their identity papers and an invitation to a particular soiree or salon they've been invited to. We need to be able to send someone in their place to that. The fellow in question is a halfling journalist, orator and philosopher by the name of Jean-Paul Savot. He is currently all the trend with the intellectuals. And he's currently visiting Crosswater from Seoul, his home country. He is staying in a rather fashionable hotel, the Silken Goose, although I understand he spends a lot of his time in coffee houses and wine bars, drinking it up and preaching all of his fabled self-evident truths and the like. So, we don't know where he keeps his papers or his invitation, probably on his person, maybe not. But if you can get those, I don't really care how, without killing him, we'll consider that job done.
Okay, an important thing.
Yes, it is very important that Savat does not die or disappear. He needs to be cited. His presence in town needs to be noted before we send someone to impersonate him. Okay. Thirdly, this one's tricky, but here's the thing. If you do one of the first two, and then we'll consider that even payment for the inquiries we need to make. If you were to do a second one of those two, we would, for either of those first two, we'd pay you 120 gold crowns for the second one you did. Mm-hmm. If you were to do this one, this third one's the trickiest, and it comes with a bit of a calculated fee. If you were to just do that one, we'd take 100 gold off the final amount as payment for sorting out these problems that you're looking for, and pay you the rest. You see, the problem is, this might be a wet work solution. Maybe. I don't know. The McDougall family run a lot of the smuggling and opium and other interesting chemical dens in the south of the city. They're a street gang of halflings. Now, normally they're not a problem. They've been quite reliable in the past. They've always paid their cut to the sculptor, and he's been very happy with it, despite their occasionally disrespectful attitude. Of late, however, their leader, Morag, the eldest sister of the 7 brothers and sisters of the gang, has developed a very problematic red leaf addiction. And,
do we know what red leaf is? Do I
make
know?
a nature or medicine check.
I was going to say, out of character, yeah. Do we know what that is?
Ooh, I might know.
I don't think... What check is that, sorry?
Nature or medicine.
Okay, that's an 8, so I don't think I do.
Corzin knows.
19.
Okay, Scamp. You have actually seen Redleaf before because you've seen someone take it. It was an older boy. I think it was a boy. Yeah, it would have been arbitrarily, let's say a boy, in one of the street gangs in Scarrel's Cove. Got hold of some. Apparently the way you can either chew it for a slow burn, or you can crush it up into a fine powder and snort it, which is what he did. And then he proceeded to flip the fuck out and start beating the shit out of people. It is a potent stimulant if taken in powdered form, or a more gentle stimulant if chewed as a leaf, which enhances your speed and reflexes for a short period of time, and then leads to one hell of a come down afterwards.
It's fantasy crack.
It's basically fantasy crack, yeah.
Wow.
It's also very
Is it
addictive.
red?
It is red.
That makes me happy.
Yeah, the finished powder is a sort of pinkish colour when it's done. So yeah, you've encountered this before, Scamp.
That stuff's nasty.
And the particular problem for us is that it also impedes your judgment. Morag has killed 3 watchmen in the last week.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's a problem.
That is a problem. Now, don't get me wrong, we're good at sorting these problems out, but if this continues, it's going to rapidly outstretch our ability to solve said problems. So, we need the McDougal family taken care of. We need them to disappear. We don't care how that happens. We don't care if you kill them, kidnap them, scare them off, bribe them away, or pack them on a one-way ship to Sunder where they can live out a new life as potato farmers. We just need them to be gone for at least 6 months, so this sort of heat can die down. That said... Sorry, go on.
If she's killing watchmen, then presumably they're going to be taking an interest in this woman, and sooner or later the trash is going to take itself out.
Yes, but the problem is that there's something large we're currently working on, which I'm afraid we don't know you well enough to talk about.
That's quite alright.
And right now we'd rather not have that level of scrutiny. So
also,
normally,
I imagine she knows things, doesn't she?
Well, yes, there is that. Normally, we would let the trash take itself out, but in this case, it's necessary to put our own house in order rather than leave it to the Bluecoats.
And you definitely need the whole family gone, not just her.
We need as much of it gone as possible, ideally, to prevent reprisals. But the important thing is Morag. So, we will pay... And again, if you do this as the only job for us, we'll take 100 gold off this total. We'll pay 25 gold crowns for each McDougal you kill, or disappear, or otherwise get rid of. We'll pay 50 for Morag, or 200 if you bring her back alive.
Oh, bring her into you alive.
Yes. We don't care. We do have a safe house location that you can bring her to.
Yes, obviously
quietly.
you wouldn't want her here, would you?
No, but if you put her somewhere and then send us a message, we'll come and collect. And if you can do that, I'm sure that the boss would actually probably like to speak to you directly.
So you said there are 7 of them?
There are 7 of them, yes. Morag and her siblings... Let me see. Ah, yes. Johnny, Tommy, Bonnie, Lonnie, Sonny, and Honey.
Why the fuck is she called Morag?
Apparently they only...
child?
Eldest child. Apparently they only decided on the pattern afterwards.
Who the fuck gives all their children rhyming names? What the fuck is wrong with these people?
I suspect this may have led somewhat towards their life of crime.
People with rhyming names do tend to become, murderers and stuff. That is a trend.
Definitely.
Or perhaps they just had rather sadistic parents.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
almost
do.
certainly.
I do remember Yes, unfortunately, old Darrell McDougal and Hannah McDougal were two particularly prolific serial killers in their day.
Oh,
Wow.
So really, their descendants have been quite an improvement, at least until now. But yes, that's our conditions for that one. You can do any of those three, and we will consider that a suitable payment for dealing with the inquiries for your problem.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, if you do any others for us, we'll pay you for those.
Okay, that seems fair.
If you would like to have a little bit of time to discuss, I can leave the room, come back.
I think that would be good. Yes, please.
Quite all right. She drains her coffee. I'll return in 10 minutes. And
Can I
leaves the
do a
room.
nature check to see how much I remember about Jules?
You can.
19.
Okay, quite a lot is the answer. So, you remember a few interesting things. First of all, they are cloaked in heavy chitinous armour. They're about the size of a horse. And you remember those fuckers are tough. It takes quite a fair bit to bring them down. They're amphibious. They swim as fast as they can walk. They can breathe air and water equally well. They don't need to periodically resubmerge the way that Sawagin do. You know that they've got they've got 4 sort of crab-like legs, and then 2 huge lobster-like, crab-like actually, no, crab-like pincers. They also have a particularly nasty habit. If they can grab hold of someone with a pincer and keep them in place, then they can also try and essentially wrap their tentacles around them. The tentacles, from what you remember observing, exude a paralytic slime. Although they're also quite short-ranged, so the Chul has to grab someone and pull them in towards its tentacles in order for it to paralyze them. You also remember that they are, while not as intelligent as humans and halflings, they're smarter than just beasts. They're certainly capable of deception and trickery. Oh, and they're also and also you just happen to know this from later research. They're also immune to most poisons.
I relay all of this information.
Mm-hmm.
I also say, now, cards on the table.
Yes.
Generally, I am given to understand that these things are social creatures in that they live in family groups. That's certainly the only time I've ever seen them that was the case. But if there's one isolated, then all I would say is treat this thing like it's got the intelligence closer to you or I than it has,
Oh, so it's sort of properly sentient kind of thing.
Close enough.
Okay, good to know.
Close enough for discomfort.
Okay.
The advantage that we're going to have is that we're going to have it outnumbered. But I would recommend, if we've got it, setting a trap for it and
Coming
using
up with
high
some sort of
explosives
plan.
to take it down.
We do still have explosives. We should ask her how far down the sewer is and whether that will be heard.
Or whether it'll collapse the sewers. Will that be an issue?
Oh,
Are we going to bring a
Probably.
road down on us?
Make an intelligence check, anyone who wants to.
Oh, that's a 1. I think that's a great idea.
4.
16!
Despite having grown up your entire life in Underdark Cave Network and knowing the dangers of setting off high explosives in confined spaces, you feel confident that something like just like an ordinary sewer probably isn't going to be an issue.
I mean, It's quite strong. It'd be fine to blow it up, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Scamp, you know because of your past, you know a fair bit about it, about the uses of gunpowder. And
sewers.
And sewers. And the answer is a properly intact storm drain at a secure, well-buttressed point would probably probably wouldn't collapse after a powder keg explosion. However, if you were in a damaged part, one that had been disrupted by, say, extensive flooding, so the stonework had started to break in places, or if it was in disrepair, setting off a powder keg near or close to or under that would probably cause a collapse. So, yeah, you could get away with a powder keg explosion if you were in an intact portion, but it would be riskier in an out of repair portion.
So it's going to depend on how well they look after their sewers.
Oh right, like whether it's broken or not, sort of thing.
Yeah, if they're in bad repair. We'll have street falling on our heads.
Oh, I mean, the odds of it being in bad repair are quite high as well, aren't there? Because there's this sort of murderous crab thing down there.
Well, there's that.
Retroactive question.
Yeah.
What creature type is a chul?
Oh,
Is
one
it-
moment. I will tell
An
you.
aberration? Is it a...
I'm not sure if it's an aberration or a
beast?
monstrosity. One moment. It's definitely one of the two. Nope, I don't need to know the rug of smothering right now. It is an aberration.
Right, in which case then, Corzin knows he can track it.
Haha.
Ooh.
Excellent.
Do you tell us this?
What he will say is that I've come across these things once before. I should be able to pick up on the signs of one. They're large enough that they're going to have difficulty hiding down there.
Okay, that's useful.
It's very useful.
I mean, you don't miss a 7-foot crab.
No, I mean it's hard to hide. A 7-foot crab in a probably relatively small sewer tunnel isn't going to be that difficult, is it?
I mean,
Also, it's going to be
depending on how
surrounded
big
by
their sewer
dead
tunnels
people,
are,
so there'll be signs.
I mean, they've stated that these are kind of the storm drain sections. So you know that
so
they
they might be quite big.
you know that they will at least be large enough for people to comfortably walk down. Which is the reason why, presumably, the sculptor's crew use it for travel.
Yeah, they wouldn't be crawling through the sewer for travel. Actually, that was a stupid thought. So,
What about this identity theft one?
I mean, we're not very good at stealth, are we? I mean, I am really quite drawn to the one with Morag McDougal because that sounds like we could properly get the sculptor's trust from that.
Yeah.
And there might be extra information in it. Or, some sort of help.
Yeah.
And we don't need to kill anyone, we just need to bring her into the safe house.
Sounds like all three of these things will require a bit of planning and nous in order to pull off.
Definitely.
But I'm not objecting to any of them, especially not that chill one.
Yeah, maybe we could do that one first, because you seem to know all about them, so I think we've got good odds. And then
Maybe find some information while we're sort of doing that, if we can, and plan for Morag and friends.
Yeah, and I mean, we could even take a look at the man, Jean-Paul Savat, the Silken Goose, if we really wanted to. But I think it's worth scouting out the two that are people, definitely, and seeing how they look. Definitely with Morag, we want to watch them for a bit, see how impenetrable it is. But if we could do that one, I would love to get this person's trust.
Agreed.
Because I think they could be
Yeah.
very, very helpful.
Okay. About this point, there's a gentle knock at the door, which opens. Doesn't wait for you to say "come in." Just knock, knock. Opens, and they'll Was it Veldrina or Valdania? This is what I get for naming two twins similar things. Veldrina, in the green dress, returns with a fresh cup of coffee.
Is it another quadruple express?
It is.
Bloody hell. Is she okay?
So, hope you've had a bit of time to reach a decision. Which of these would you like to try, or perhaps try first?
I think by the sound of things, we're going to try for the giant crab monster in the sewers.
Fantastic.
But then we're going to try and scout out the other two and see what we can do for you there as well, if you'd be happy for us to.
Okay, 1 minute. And she reaches into her petticoats and pulls out a large iron key.
Ooh.
Okay. So, this will take this here, and she passes it to you, Celestia, will let you into a shack on Whitaker Grove. That is our private entrance, as it were, to the sewer system, and is not far from from the cache where the bastard thing hatched. You'll need to go left, right, left, and you know what? She gets a napkin and proceeds to draw you a crude map, pointing the way. Right, that's broadly the area you want to search in.
Mm-hmm. And would that also be the safe house that you want us to take the halfling lady to?
Actually, that would be ideal. Yes, if you could leave her there and then send us a message, and we'll arrange for transport.
We'll see what we can do.
If you do that one. Obviously, either of those are ideal. Right. Well, there's no time limit on this, but obviously the sooner you do this for us, the sooner we can start making inquiries.
Of course.
Those will take a few days.
Yeah, we're here for a week, so at least.
Oh,
so there should be time.
Should be all right.
Also, I have a question about your sewers, just for logistics.
Yes.
If one were to, say, fire a gun down there, or, do anything loud, would it be heard? Would we get the watch going? Would that be a problem, or are we far down enough that it's okay?
You're reasonably far down. We've had a gunfight down there before. I would say don't try and try to avoid collapsing an entire tunnel if you can, but otherwise, unless that gets rid of that crab monster, in which case go and feel free.
Oh, okay.
I want that thing dead.
I suppose the tunnel you can put back up, can't you?
I can put the tunnel back together. We have other ways around, but as long as that thing is down there, it's a danger to our operations. Obviously, if you could do that without collapsing an entire tunnel, that will make everything a lot easier. Besides, there's still a little bit of contraband down there. You're welcome to it if you could find it, but collapsing the entire tunnel would probably get rid of that. Put paid to that. If you can't find it, no worries, and if you can find it, keep it. We've written it all off anyway.
Very kind of you. If the giant crab monster thing hasn't destroyed it all, of course.
Well, unless it eats silver, I don't imagine it will.
Corzin would know what.
It does not eat silver. From what you've seen, it eats halflings.
Oh.
Yep.
Right.
People.
You guess it would probably also eat sewer rats. You don't imagine these things are picky.
Is the point. Yeah. Cool.
Carnivorous higher predator.
Okay, well, lovely doing business with you. We'll see you as soon as we can.
Right. Well, she drains half of her second cup of coffee. Right. Well, enjoy. Stands up.
Bye.
See you soon.
See you.
Totters
Bye.
out.
Do you think she's had enough coffee? I'm
I
not
think
sure.
she had enough
Stuff.
coffee 3 days ago by the looks of things.
Yeah.
That stuff's not good for you.
No, there's something behind the eyes going on there. She'd had a few too many.
Stick to rum.
Yeah. Can I ask you two something? I don't want you to
Go
take
on.
this badly.
Yes.
Why are you helping me? Because this is a lot of work, and I'm extremely grateful. And I haven't asked you up to this point because I didn't want you to think about it too hard. But I think maybe we're at the point where we're just friends now. And why are you willing to go into the sewer and kill a giant crab monster with me so I can save somebody.
Corzin thinks for a few moments about this and says, I know what it's like to lose someone who's quite dear to you. And if there's any chance that you can be reunited with them, well, like I said a little while back, if you've got the ability to do things, it's kind of your responsibility, in my view, to pay that forward.
That was
I don't know what it's like to lose someone dear to you, but you didn't throw rocks.
Well, if I can stop the entire world throwing rocks at you, I will. And
Thank you.
thank you both. I
Anyone who
appreciate
throws
it
rocks
more
at
than
you,
I can
bad.
ever make sense of. So, thank you. I owe you both a lot, and I don't just mean drinks.
Though drinks would make a very good start.
We could go and have drinks and talk about how we're going to deal with all of this shit, couldn't we? That might not be good, actually.
Yes, a strategy meeting, I think.
Yes, War Council.
Corzin is going to use... He's not actually going to use primeval awareness to find the nearest pub, but he is going to use his wits and guile in order to try and find the nearest
Halfling
pub.
alcohol
In a pub.
senses.
Okay.
We're in a pub.
I mean, you could order wine here, or you could go to another pub.
We are. It's quite a classy pub.
Yeah, no, this is a bar.
This is a wine bar, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if they were serving tapas.
There is tapas.
No way is there
There is
tapas.
Chinese tapas.
Oh my god.
You can order some if you want before you leave. It's got
I'm ordering us tapas.
Okay, you get a small
happening.
bowl with such delicacies as chorizo and haggis.
How much is it?
I'm going to say it's like full silver for like
I'm
just
getting
a
us
selection of
tapas.
small bowls.
Before we leave.
Just it's
If
collection.
it's an entire haggis, then it's like the size of Corzin's head.
I mean, it's like haggis slices, you know. Well,
Oh,
not
right,
slices, but yeah. Like it's done in tapas styles. There's lots of small dishes. It's basically
right,
like a
yeah.
single course of it's like a single halfling meal, but like for a small halfling family.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. After finishing your tapas, though, using us before we take our break, I'll say you use your innate halfling senses. Can I ask you for a wisdom check, please?
Wisdom, okay.
Okay.
That is 12.
Okay. All right, step out, take a moment. This way, and you sort of head off in a random direction,
Where are you
taking your way
going?
through a couple of back streets, following your halfling senses.
Can I make a perception check, like to follow my nose to the nearest?
Yeah.
Halfling beer senses, is that what this is?
Yeah. Oh, that's not good. That's a 9.
Okay. You takes
How hard
about
is it to
a little
find
bit
a
longer than you
pub?
thought, but eventually you make your way out of the back streets into a slightly larger, quiet back street where you see a pub. As it's the mid-afternoon by now, there's a few workmen who are off their shifts, getting pints outside, and you can see it just seems to be a quiet back street pub frequented by various local workers, and there is a sign of just a classic sort of glass sort of hooded lantern, reading "The Brass Lantern" above it. And
Here we are, told you.
Yeah.
I definitely could have found us a pub faster.
Bloody half
I'm
an hour
really good
later,
at cities.
Corzin.
yeah,
Really good at cities.
and
They are really good at cities.
as you make your way in, ready to get some drinks and prepare your war council, I'm going to call our break. We'll return subjectively, dear listeners, in a few seconds. and carry on with our designs from there. See you all after the break.
I'm in an like and rate I have and subscribe. I'm God of Flintlocks and Fireballs.
And welcome back. So, you find yourself heading into the Brass Lantern, a quiet backstreet pub. On the interior is pretty much of classical pub style. There's light filtering through kind of thick, slightly uneven bottle glass windows. A variety of, at times slightly mismatched chairs to the tables. And a classic bar with a couple of workmen sort of sat at it, engaged in their own conversation while drinking from heavy mugs. The barman is a sort of dark, kind of like dark-skinned, sort of like kind of chocolate brown human with reddish hair, has a pair of gloves on, tweed vest and some trousers, and is currently polishing some mugs. As you come in, he looks up as you enter. Howdy!
Hello.
What can I get you?
Whiskey for me, please.
Oh, bit early, but all right. And for you two?
What's the house ale like?
Not bad, if I say so myself. We don't get ours from the McDougal Brewery, that's for sure. Now, there's a fellow we know outside the city who makes ours, so yeah, we got decent dark. The light's all right too, but I prefer the dark myself.
I'll go for that.
And you, dwarf? Sorry.
Milk, please.
All right.
Milk, yeah.
He goes and pours you a whiskey, pulls you an ale, and pours out a glass of milk for each of you. That'll be yep, one silver, 3 copper.
I'll pay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Out of character maths, please. How many coppers to a silver? Help me. 10.
We're doing decimalisation.
So 1 silver, 3 copper.
Yes, it's 13 copper if you want to use it that way.
No. Yep, okay, right, thank you. I'm sorry, I'd run out of copper and I had a brain fart and my head exploded. My head exploded, I'm sorry. Carry on with the interesting things that are not me having a maths breakdown.
Yeah.
Corzin says to Scamp, now, are you sure that's really necessary at this point? This is quite a cosmopolitan place. I'm sure there are other...
No, I like this.
Or...
What was this place called?
The Brass Lantern.
Crosswater. Oh, well.
In character.
The Brass Lantern, I think.
Right.
Why?
I don't read very fast. I don't know, I don't like it here.
What's the matter with it?
It's fine, I guess.
What's up with you?
It's the day. Can we not see some sunshine, or is it sunny?
You've never
daylight?
Objected to daytime
it's
pubs
pretty
before.
daylightish, yeah.
It's
late afternoon, so yeah.
There has been no objection to daytime pubs before. What's going on, Scamp?
Just having a weird week.
We'll have plenty of time to see the sights, I've no doubt.
Yeah. And this place seems fine. It's a pub.
Yeah, the barkeep is kind of just polishing a glass, watching through the other conversation. Kind of blinks for a moment, carries on. Seems vague. Seems to kind of vaguely interested in what his patrons are talking about whilst he's just doing some work.
What time of day is it, actually?
Call it 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, okay, right. So
Yeah.
past the yard arm, at least.
Yeah, it's barely day drinking.
Yeah.
No, alright, well, we've got several more usable hours of daylight, so yeah, this is just a swift half while we plan our next move.
Okay.
Why are you so bothered about the name?
I was trying to read faster and I'm not. I thought I had the right name and I didn't. I got it wrong.
What did you think it said?
To be honest, I didn't get the second word at all, and I thought the first one was a colour. Is brass a colour? Yes.
Kind of.
I was nearly right.
What did you think it said? The brown lantern or something?
Yes, that.
Okay. Right. What are we going to do about this crab then?
You guys,
Kill it?
do you want to? There's a corner table if you guys want to sort of take a booth and
Yeah, I think so.
war council. Okay, you settle down with your drinks.
Alright, given my experience with things Chul, would it be reasonable to assume that the best strategy for taking one down is to overwhelm it?
I mean,
It can only attack one or two people at a time, assuming that it's within range. It doesn't have any ranged weapons.
yeah, you've not observed any ranged weaponry from it. It's melee only. Has at most, two. Can at most pincer 2 targets.
So taking
Those two pincers.
it out at a distance is probably
Yeah, we've got guns, haven't we? Scamp, you got fire?
Yeah.
Beyond the immunity to most poisons, it doesn't have any particular resistances or immunities that you know of. So most types of weaponry will work on it. But you do remember that these things are tough and and even if when you get past the armor, do take a fair amount of punishment to put down.
So, I guess having sat down for a war council, the plan might just be to hit it lots until it dies, mightn't it, really?
Keep distance where we can.
Mm-hmm.
Break anyone out who gets caught.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go near the tentacles.
Yeah, I mean, not going near tentacles is quite a good way to live your life, really, isn't it?
I don't think I've ever known any good tentacles.
No, I've never met a tentacle I liked. Right, So what about this McDougal family then? They're brewers?
apparently.
I guess that could be a good front for smuggling drugs.
Yeah, I suppose so. Lots of barrels and things.
Yeah,
Do drugs come in barrels?
they can do.
I mean, there's no reason they couldn't come in barrels. If you were a smuggler, say.
It's a lot of drugs.
Yeah, I suppose it is.
It's a large city.
True.
Very big
And
city.
smuggling in barrels is good.
So,
So,
how do we want to play this? Like, do we want to stalk them for a bit, see if we can find out anything about this Morag? I mean, do we want to pretend to be
We're so
brewers
subtle.
and like we want to buy some beer or something? I don't know. Like, what can we do here?
I suppose you could be like opening a pub or something and need lots of beer.
I definitely look like someone who would open a pub. Maybe Corzin could be someone who's opening a pub. That
Well,
seems
you could
more
be
likely.
opening a fancy bar
A wine bar.
which needs beer and other things. Wink, wink.
Right. Or we could pretend we want to buy some drugs and then take her out the back and kidnap her.
would seem.
I mean, that works too.
I mean,
But how do we get to her and not lots of people all at once?
you have a point. How do we know which one
'Cause
she
even
is?
If we knocked them out, dragging lots of people all at once through town's going to get tricky.
Yeah.
If we want to catch her unawares and take her off, we've got to get her into a position where she's on her own, and that strikes me as going to be the thing that's going to be the most challenging.
We could pretend to seduce her.
I'd be really good at that.
Well, I could pretend to seduce her. She might like Drow. Probably not. That's a bit niche, isn't it, for up here?
Who knows?
Is anyone paying attention to us? Is anyone watching us?
Make a perception check.
Ooh, it's a natural 20.
Okay.
On the tiny dice.
Scamp, can I ask you for a deception check, please? For your disguise.
Oh, no, that was so nearly good. 11.
Okay. You do notice that the barman has been watching your group, and you in particular, for some time now.
Okay.
Have I noticed him looking over? Can I check?
Make a perception check.
No. Probably not. That's an 11. Yeah, so probably not.
Corzin's probably too busy talking.
Okay,
about
while the perception check is happening, I'm going to turn to Corzin and go, well, she's a halfling. Maybe she'd like halflings. Maybe you could try and fan her up a bit and ask her out on a date, and then we could kidnap her instead.
Corzin has a 1,000-yard stare.
Is it like in Paddington Bear when he does the hard stare? Is that what's happening right now?
Quite probably.
Oh.
Okay. You only had to say if you didn't like the plan. I'm just throwing out ideas out here, having a brainstorm.
No, that's fine. It's just, well, she might not even swing that way. Who knows?
No, exactly.
Swing what that way?
Never
Her
mind.
body when she dances.
I know stuff. I'm kidding.
We might be best
Corzin
off finding
leans
out.
over to Celestia and says, "We've been with this kid for I don't know how long now, and we haven't actually ascertained if they know where babies come from."
I am not giving them the talk, if that's what you are suggesting.
Probably better you than me.
Why? Why would I be good at that?
'Cause I'll be honest about it.
What, and you'd rather I made up a story saying they come in pink packages brought by, dragon friends? Do you think that's
No.
better? Do you think I'll make up a song? This song is called Where Babies Come From, Scamp.
I can't wait to hear it. You guys are not quiet.
We'll talk about this later.
It's the hangover of the natural 20 perception check. I mean, she likes drugs. Can we pretend we've got drugs?
Yeah, that's
We've
probably
got some
a thing.
drugs.
Yeah.
I've got...
Yeah, but she likes the red leaf thing.
We could just buy
We
some.
could fake some up.
Well,
Do a deal.
And
from what
offer
we've
to
been
sell it
told,
to
she's
her.
her own best
Do
customer.
we know how expensive it is? Any ideas?
Is she the supplier for that one, or is it a different thing that they've been trafficking?
You don't know. It sounds like but you guess that if she's hooked on the stuff, she's probably got ready access to a supply.
Alright.
What if we left a trail of drugs, like breadcrumbs, and had her follow it? No, this is... I don't have any good ideas here. Maybe we should just find out where she sleeps and creep in through a window and grab her.
Yeah, this is not like, baiting...
We could spike her drink beforehand, if we found a way to do that. Knock her out and then carry her off.
Sounds simple when you put it like that, although what about her siblings?
There are fucking 6 of them, aren't there?
We could pretend that we can help with her problem with the watch and organise a meeting.
That's not actually a bad idea.
Someone's got their head screwed on today. That could be nice.
Let's go do that immediately.
Yes, and we could be really weird, like we're a crime gang, and say that we just want to meet with her.
Well, that'll take no effort.
Yeah.
But it might be worth getting rid of whatever's in the sewers first so we can use them to travel. So we don't have to drag an unconscious lady through the streets.
That
Also a very good
is
point.
a very...
I was going to make that point. I'm glad you made it for me.
Scamp, what have you been drinking today? You're the only one who's not had coffee. You don't have any rights being this sharp.
Coffee's bad for the brain.
Maybe it
Evidently
is.
the beer in here is working.
Is it working yet? No, I'm drinking milk, aren't I?
Apparently the milk in here is working.
We're both getting tiddly, that's why it's working.
I still think that while this, whatever it is, lasts, we've got to go into a competitive drinking competition and wipe the floor with everyone.
I do think that is very, very important. Definitely. Because we could make a lot of money off that, and also it'd be really, really funny.
Okay. So, having made some plans, what do you guys want to do next?
Well, we have the keys to the sewers.
We do. Should we get on over there? I mean, it doesn't have to be under cover of darkness or anything, does it? Because it's in the sewers.
No.
And we enter through a house, so it's kind of fine.
Actually, that's an important point. With the roll that I got earlier, would I know if the Chul has dark vision?
You would, and it does. About on
Right.
par with Scamp.
Okay. So, once again, it appears that I am at a distinct disadvantage, being the only one who can't bloody see in the dark.
Wait. Again, I can help you with that, darling.
How so?
Click my fingers and a little purple light appears. Like this, as usual.
Ah, right, okay.
A couple of the workmen at the bar kind of like, you see that? Oh.
Just gonna sink lower in the seat.
I'm going to stir the light around for attention, just a little bit. Just play with it in my fingers, like it's, like contact juggling.
Yeah.
When you have, like, a glass ball and you, like, move it around. I'm going to do a bit of
David
that.
Bowie,
Yeah.
Labyrinth.
Yes,
Yes!
funnily enough. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm
Make a performance check.
so fun. That would be a 19.
Okay, you do the little dance. One of them raises his point. They're like, oh. And they go back to the conversation.
I tried to learn to do that. It's not easy if you're clumsy.
No, not easy in general, I think.
Very few things are easy if you're clumsy.
I put out the light behind Scamp's ear. And then create a little puff of smoke behind the ear with prestidigitation just for good measure. Like while it's going out, so it goes when I put it out behind her ear. Behind their ear.
Says-
I'm so sorry, I keep gendering Scamp as Robbie again. Apologies.
Corzin says, are you planting more seeds for ear gold?
Yes, I mean, ear gold is a thing that we must all watch out for. We never know when it's going to appear. I reach behind Corzin's ear and try and sleight of hand a coin out of it.
Make a sleight of hand check.
Oh shit. That would be a 6.
No, it's very, very obvious.
This has never worked, ever. Like, this has never been a thing that's
You can
worked.
clearly see her reach into her pocket, take out the coin, and then try and put it behind your ear.
Oh, Corzin, that's your ear gold. That is...
Corzin
Still
just
sounds
looks,
like another way of saying earwax to me.
Corzin just looks her dead in the eye and says, don't give up the day job.
This actually kind of is the day job. I've never really had a real job apart from performing stuff. But maybe the sleight of hand needs some work. I'll give it that. Okay, right. What are we doing?
Killing the sewer crab.
Yes.
Okay. You finish your drinks
Planting some crustaceans.
and head out towards Whitaker Grove. Okay. Oops. You make your way through the streets. Whitaker Grove is it should be about a 20-minute walk away, but Scamp, you spent your life growing up in the side streets of a city, and you know a thing or two about how cities are arranged. You can actually get the party there in 10. It's a fun little feature of the urchin background. Also, Corzin, because you're the only one with a passive perception. Actually, no. Is your passive perception 14 or 15?
It's 12.
Really? I thought you had proficiency in perception.
Yeah, but my passive perception is 12 because it's based on my wisdom.
Yeah, but it's also it's 10 plus your total perception score.
Oh, I see. In which case, it's 14.
Okay, never mind then.
Oh, tease.
So
mean.
I know. I thought it was 15. But
Okay, and I honestly thought that passive perception was just based on wisdom.
No, it is your wisdom. It's what your perception would be if by default you assume you roll a 10.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so
We'll change that then.
yeah, you make your way through the side streets to Whitaker Grove, and a lot of the houses around here are, it's in the third circle. It's actually just beyond. No, it's just on the edge of the third circle of the city, so not far from the outermost wall, but down an area that's mostly filled with small workshops and similar, not really a very profitable area by and large, and small sort of tenement housing. And there is pretty much a shack. It looks like an old, slightly dilapidated home, but it's the most shack-like building in there. And testing it with the iron key, the door does come open. It appears to be kind of a bit of a wreck on the interior, doesn't have many signs of habitation, but looking at it, there is you can see that there's a couple of front rooms working your way to the back. There is a set of steps down to a cellar, and descending into those you can see where someone has knocked the brickwork through underneath into an access way to a large sort of circular tube, just tall enough for Celestia to walk through. She hunches very slightly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You do have some directions that were handily written down on a napkin, but Corzin, I'd like you to make a survival check with advantage because of your primeval awareness.
Okay, I was going to say, I will expend one of my spell slots to do primeval awareness.
Okay, so actually wait, because that might just flat out tell you. I haven't actually used.
Flat out tell me.
Yeah, range of primeval awareness. 1 minute.
It's got a really wide radius, hasn't it?
1 mile.
Wow.
6 mile. Yeah, 1 mile because you're not on your favourite terrain, which is the sea.
Well, I mean, my favourite terrain is the coast. Does this count as the coast?
No, this isn't urban. This terrain is, as it were, urban.
Fair enough. Okay, 1 mile then.
Yeah. So. Okay. Funnily enough, it only says that you can sense whether the following types of creatures are present within 1 mile of you. It doesn't. It does not reveal the location or number. But since you're using it, I'll give you advantage on the survival check.
All right. $21.
Okay. The moment you kind of trust to, and you feel the fisheye spirit settle onto your eye the same way as it does during the Hunter's Mark, you feel your awareness spread. And okay, so this is interesting. So what does this reveal? Aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead.
Do I have to choose one of those?
No, you can sense whether they are there or not. Give me a moment.
I thought you had to choose. I might be misremembering.
Nope, doesn't say. You don't have to choose. You can just sense whether they are there or not. I need to check something before I give you an answer on that.
That's fine.
For one thing, definitely the presence of an aberration pings up.
Right.
But there might be a couple of other things I need to check.
What it would look like to the two of you is he's just sort of kneeling down on the floor and pressing one hand to the ground, eyes closed.
Nope, don't worry. That doesn't count as one of those. So, you can also sense that somewhere there is. You also get a strange sense of there being the undead, but you can't pinpoint where those are. But it's very strong.
Very strong.
There's a very strong sense of the undead being present somewhere within a mile of you, but every time you try to search for them, you can't get a pin. It's almost overpowering your sense of the aberration, but you are able to sense it, and heading into the sewers, it helps you pay attention to the little signs you've come to expect.
Alright, I say to the other two, okay, I'm fairly certain it's down here, but I'm also getting a distinct feeling that there's undead down here as well, so let's keep on our toes, right?
Oh god, it killed people and their bodies weren't necessarily dealt with, as it were.
It's a distinct possibility.
Yeah. How many people did she say it killed?
2 lots of teams.
Oh, that could be loads.
Teams meaning how many?
I don't know.
I assumed it had eaten them, but I suppose it's only one creature, isn't it?
You work your way through the tunnels.
Can we stealth, please?
Yes, I'd like some stealth
yeah.
checks.
Dear God,
please.
let's stealth. Oh, I hate all of my dice today. I'm having one of those days. Maybe this one.
Unnatural 20.
Oh, that's really good. That's a 21, which is mental for Celestia.
12.
Oh. We're in the dark, so I assume outfit doesn't apply.
Outfit does not apply.
Hey!
You are actually. It is actually too dark. I guess if you put one of the dancing lights directly next to you, it'd probably count. But so long as you don't, as long as you keep them, as long as you don't highlight yourself with them, then you're.
I mean, that's not the plan.
Yeah.
I would probably put one next to Corzin and leave it at that,
Yeah.
to be honest, because me and Scamp are kind of fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, it is actually too dark for the flashiness of
Yeah,
your
I'll
outfit
just have
to
one
counteract.
float around, sort of next to Corzin's head, so it's not in his eyes, but it's
Just giving
lighting
a
his
little
way
bit of
ahead.
light.
Yeah.
Okay. So, the three of you make your way forwards. There is a constant run of water, which goes higher and lower, and every now and again there's a little. As the water level rises for just by a couple of inches and then lowers as some distant blockage is undone momentarily. These being more storm drains than sewers, as always, there's surprisingly little shit.
Hey!
But you still wouldn't want to necessarily take a bath in this stuff. Corzin, you were tracking through the tunnels. You begin to see the telltale signs of scratching on the brickwork, places where something has brushed against it and left scores in the masonry, just by virtue of its size. Something that can fit through these tunnels. I'm going to say because of their size, you could because none of you are particularly big. Or at least, no two of you are particularly big. Two of you could walk abreast in this tunnel.
I do point this out to the others. I'm like, see here. That's got to have been it. It's got to have passed through here.
And you do actually find a small flake of chitin where it's actually brushed off as well.
Alright.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you think it's nearby? Can you tell?
Not to any degree of accuracy, but if it's come down this way, then we'd best be on our guard.
weapons
As you're
out.
reaching the end of, you've got about 1 minute of primeval awareness per.
It can't hang from the ceiling, can it?
Not
Or can
to
it?
your. No, it's not built for that.
Okay.
It could. The only way it could get up to the ceiling were if it was in a completely flooded area and it just
Right,
slammed to
okay.
the ceiling. It
Just
doesn't.
thought I'd...
No, it doesn't
qualified that.
have. It doesn't have the kind of feet that would allow it to grip like that.
Alright.
Yeah.
I would like to cast Mage Armor, please.
Huzzah!
Down.
Yes, you do.
I
so.
remembered before a fight.
Okay, for the next 8 hours, you are armoured with your horn-like strength across your skin. Okay, Celestia. The journey takes about 5 minutes, but by the time the primeval awareness wears out after a minute. By the way, during that whole minute, the sense of undead did not waver or vary in the slightest. It remained constant
Right.
throughout. By that point, you've already found the trail. Moving forwards. Takes about 5 minutes to get where you need to go. Celestia, with the furthest vision, because you've got 120 feet of dark vision, you feel, because you can sense the shape of things, this tube starts to abruptly broadens out into what you can sense is just the edge of a chamber. Sort of a large chamber of some sort, but there you can sense there is a kind of a large barricade or high mound that sort of a crude wall. You can't quite tell what materials, maybe rubble or something. Not without any light. You can just sense that it is an uneven, rough construction. The roof of this chamber that it's going to, that much of which, and this is right on the edge of your senses, so unless you go further forwards, you can't map out the whole area. Seems to be maybe 30 foot high. Actually, no, that's far too high for this shallow underground. No, this would be 15 foot high at the absolute most, and the rubble barricade is about 12 foot high.
Okay.
There is a gap in the in the barricade, in the rubble barricade. So it's almost like there's two walls of rubble, one long one and one short one, and the entryway is off center from the through the barricade from the way that the tunnel goes into this chamber.
I turn to the other two, sort of put a hand out to get them to stop and go. I know you two can't see it, but there's some sort of barricade up ahead, made of sort of rubble. There's an entrance.
Yeah. You also can't see past the barricade because
There's a
dark
barricade.
vision is blocked by stone.
Yeah.
Does this thing use sight or sound or smell?
As far as I can tell, it has eyes.
Yeah, from what you are aware, Corzin, it possesses dark vision similar of a mechanic similar to that of Celestia and Scamp.
Right.
Is it clever enough to barricade itself in a tunnel?
Yes.
Potentially.
We could make a little illusion, see if it attacks it. Just keep
That's
doing
not a
that
bad
as we go
idea,
along.
actually.
Like a little helpless bunny rabbit or something.
That's a great idea.
Okay.
I mean, you or me? What do you want?
Well, you need to keep working on the lights, don't you?
True, actually, yes. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind doing the bunny, that'd be lovely.
So you've currently got one light up, but you can
One.
get up to 4.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Well, we don't really need any more right now. I'm kind of trying to keep it low key.
Yeah. Just remember, it's an action to summon the other 3.
Yes.
Does it look like it's been caved in, or does it look like it's been deliberately piled up?
I'm going to say...
I'm asking Celestia.
Yeah, I was going to say
yeah.
Celestia, because it's right at the edge of your dark vision, and this would be easier to tell with light, I'm going to ask you to make a perception check at disadvantage.
Okay, cool. Ah, shit. That's like a 6.
Can't tell. You'd need light.
honestly not sure. It's a bit far away. I can only just see that it's there.
So let's get a little bit closer.
Yeah, I think we can afford to get a bit
Stick something
closer.
on top and see what happens.
Yeah.
Right, you are.
Cool. How close do you want to get before you do something?
Maybe just
30 feet is the range, so
okay.
I'm guessing 30
feet it is.
Okay, you know, keeping your stealth checks from before. You stealth your way forwards, just masking your movement with the rush of water, the slow trickle of water and other substances through the sewage.
Yeah, I'm going to put the dancing light down a little bit so it's like close to the floor and like it wouldn't shine over the top of the barricade. Hopefully, anyway.
You get a lovely purple tinted view of the sewer's contents.
So nice.
But yeah, are you pushing it? So you get within 30 feet. Are you pushing the light up towards the barricade to take a closer look?
No.
Okay, you're just
keep it by Corzin.
Keep it by Corzin. Cool. All right. So you get within 30 feet.
Can we see it any better from here?
The dancing light, I believe, and I'll just double check this.
I've got it. Range is
Dim light in a 10-foot radius.
okay. Cool.
So
Not really.
Yeah, not really. It's like you can now clearly see it in your dark vision, but again, you need light to know for sure whether this thing is more of a collapse or a construction.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a little bunny rabbit on top with minor illusion.
Okay, the
Blub, blub, blub.
weirdly, because dark vision is actually deceived by illusion spells, you feel the outline of a bunny rabbit appear on top of the barricade. It hops and merrily jiggles around. No immediate response.
Okay.
Should we go forwards a bit?
Yeah, I'll do it again a bit further down, I guess, if we think there's likely to be something.
Should we go up to the barricade and try and do it there?
Yeah!
Might as well.
Also, then we can get a good look at it, see what we think it is.
True.
Yeah. Are we close enough within the 30 feet now that the light from the...
No, you need to push one of the dancing light up within 10 feet of it.
Alright.
Because it only sheds 10 feet of like candlelight sort of level
Okay,
light.
I'm going to make another one and put it near the barricade. Behind the barricade, hopefully, so it won't go over the top. If
Okay, yeah.
and I'm going to keep the one by Corzin.
low down.
I'm glad that somebody else was there, because
Thank you.
I was too.
There's an interesting restriction on dancing lights. Every light you create with this spell must be within 20 feet of another light created by the spell.
I'm sure that's alright though, because we're quite near the barricade now,
You're
aren't we?
30 feet away, so yeah, basically you have to put the one next to Corzin 10 feet forwards and then put one 20 feet
Yeah, that's
forward.
fine, I can do that.
Yeah, so Corzin, you're kind of now front lit a bit. But
Okay, right.
yeah. Okay, looking at it, yeah, now that it's much more clearly illuminated by the purple light, this barricade appears to be constructed of sewer bricks, heavy and bits of what looks to have been freshly unearthed or mined, just chunks of rock and dirt. This was definitely built from the ground up rather than collapsing down. In fact, you can look up, you can now see the ceiling above it of this chamber is intact. This was more of a collapse down than a more of a build up than a collapse down.
Okay, slightly weird question then.
Mm-hmm.
Does it look like a humanoid built this?
Make an investigation check.
Okay. $12?
Looking at it, There's no hint of anything like proper mortaring or so on. This is essentially, you could conceivably see something like the chul with the size of it, the pincers it has, tearing bricks out of a wall and breaking off stone and dirt.
It's all just sort of plonked on top
and then
of
just
each other.
plonking it carefully on top of it, so that it forms, so that just by sheer dint of mass, it forms a stable barricade. I mean, you
Right.
Theoretically stable. If you put the powder keg on that, you'd probably blow it over. But that's up to you as to whether you'd want to.
All right.
Does it look climbable? Like, is there a gap at the top if I were to climb it?
There is a gap at the top, but you'd need an acrobatics check not to get
I've got a
stuck.
climber's kit.
No, it's to do with the size of the gap. It is a narrow gap at the top.
Oh, I don't want to go through it. I just want to take a look.
Oh, you can get. Give me an athletics check with advantage just to peek over.
Suddenly we end up spelunking.
Oh god, that's like my worst nightmare in real life. Ugh.
That,
2 9s. That's hilarious. Okay, so that would be an 11.
It's okay. A couple, or you're about halfway up when a bit of the rubble seems to kind of slip. I need you to make a dex save, please.
Shit. That's a 16.
Okay, you catch yourself, and a brick sort of almost lands on Corzin.
Watch it!
Sorry.
But you clamber up the rest of the way with the aid of the pythons. Okay, peering over the edge, and there's like a foot clearance at the top, so it would be a tight squeeze. You can see a bit more of the rest of this chamber. This looks to have been originally and it still is functionally, a circular chamber where 4 sewer and storm drain tunnels met. You can see that it's designed, that there's a definite sense of flow. Or if you guys have entered, let's say you guys have entered from the south going north, you can see that there is a definite sense of flow going to the west, like it kind of goes at right angles, is the flow of water.
Okay.
The reason for this is because you can see that the north exit is blocked.
In the same manner?
In the same manner, and I'll get to exactly how in a moment. There is an east exit as well, but that one appears to be shut with what looks like an old iron portcullis or like sort of slatted gate that would need it's kind of hard to tell from here with dark vision whether or not you'd need a key or anything to get through, or if it's simply.
Sorry, where's the gate? So we have a barricade, and then way ahead another barricade.
Yeah. So you've got the circular room in total, probably 40 foot in diameter. So if from the entryway at the bottom, it's 5 foot to the barricade is 5 foot thick, then you've got a bit of space, some more stuff in the north of the room, which I'll mention in a moment. There were 4 exits, one to the south, which is the one you came through, one to the north, which is completely blocked up, one to the east, which has a gate, sort of portcullis style grill down over it, and one to the west, which is open, and that's where all of the water is and sewage is flowing through. To the north, you can just make out that the north passageway has been completely blocked with rubble, and another couple of barricades have been set up immediately in front of it, with a sort of entryway in between the two, where there's a gap in the barricade, and it's hard to make out, but it looks like a big crate has been set up right in front of the north passageway on a mound of dirt. Without light, I'm going to say perception check with disadvantage, please.
Okay. God, I'm
Just
so...
Celestia?
From just Celestia, because
I'm the only one at the top,
You're the only one at the top.
aren't I?
Yeah.
For fuck's sake, that's a 1.
You can't make out what's in.
natural
No, you
one.
cannot make out what is in that crate at all. You'd need light on it. I'll mention, climbing over the barricade is not the only way to get through. As I mentioned, there is a hole in the barricade you're currently looking over, off towards your right as well.
Okay. I'm not going to change anything of this information, so I'm just going to say for time I relay it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like a trap.
That thing's been busy.
It really has, by the looks of things.
It made a death box.
I mean, illusions aren't really a bad way to go. Could we make loads of noise or something and try and get it to come out and then take pot shots at it from through this gap?
Assuming it comes from that direction, not behind us.
Were there any other pathways off that it could have doubled back around behind us?
I mean, to find that out, I'm going to need... I guess I'll call it an investigation check if you guys want to search the surrounding sewer passages.
Yeah, why not? I don't think
if you
that's a
want to
bad
go
shout.
back on
It's
yourself
worth it. We
and
do
search
not
around.
want to be snuck up on.
Yeah.
You're the most investigative, aren't you?
Me?
Yeah. So I realised I said you into the microphone, not looking at
Yeah.
either of you. It happens all the time.
If +1 is better than yours,
No, mine's better, only narrowly. It's +2.
Yeah. You're the most intelligent of us,
How?
unfortunately.
How is that the best that we... Oh, fuck's
We
sake.
are not smart!
So I guess you guys are assisting me, are you?
Yeah, no
So I
one
get
has
advantage.
proficiency in this.
Cool.
Okay, so all three of you are leaving where the barricade is and searching backwards through the tunnels.
Yes. I'll have the lights follow us.
Yeah.
So that is a 17.
Okay. You spend 10 minutes searching the surrounding side passageways, and there are side passageways that go off as well to other places. There does not, and there's only one way actually you can find that goes back to this junction. And you, following it, you find that there is a route, a slightly complex route you can take through to the eastern passageway with the portcullis. So you could. There is an alternate way to approach the room via that passageway.
alright.
And since you found it, I'm going to say you can see now quite clearly. You can't see any more of the room than you've already seen from this new angle, but you can see that this gate has a winch, although the winch is currently padlocked, but could be used to lift the gate up for ease of passage.
So it opens from this side.
It opens from the side you guys are approaching from.
And it doesn't look like it's been opened.
The padlock is still on it, so it
I
does
tend
not
to do
appear to be
research in
winched up.
Jason characters. So it doesn't look like the thing has opened this. So it can't
Do you
be
want
in
me to
this.
try and open it?
Try the key that we were
Yeah.
given first.
Okay.
Isn't the key just for the house?
We don't know.
Okay. You try the key in the lock. No, the key that one's for the house. This appears to either they have a separate key for that and didn't think you'd need it, or this was installed presumably by the city municipal services.
Yeah, Scamp. I mean, do you want to try with your tools?
There's no harm, I guess. Ooh, not great. 14.
It's enough. This is a fairly simple padlock. With a bit of a you manage to get the lock open, take the padlock off, and it's a simple matter of turning the winch to raise the portcullis. There's also a ratchet that will allow you to set it so that it stays open.
How dense is this portcullis? Like, could we shoot through it?
It's got some pretty wide gaps. Yeah, it's made of, old iron. It's a bit rusty, but it's wide enough that you guys would have. I mean, functionally against a melee opponent. If you stood right next to it, you'd have half cover. But yeah, it would only provide half cover against a ranged opponent. But a melee opponent obviously wouldn't be able to get through it unless they were able to raise the portcullis in some way, or otherwise get past it. So yes, the holes are wide enough for you to shoot through, but I would say that you guys need to be standing within 10 feet of it to aim your shots properly without disadvantage.
Within 10 feet of the port.
Of the portcullis. You don't need to be standing right next to it, but you need to be standing close enough that
You can't go too far back, but if we were
Yeah.
close to it, we'd have half cover.
To be honest, if you were standing 10 feet away from it, this thing only has melee attacks, so it would be completely unable to reach you without getting through the portcullis in some way.
Okay. I mean, is it worth us just chucking a grenade in there and seeing if it comes out? This isn't a bad position we're in.
If we do that, we could scare it off.
True, but it seems to want people to get stuck in here, doesn't it? I mean, that crate looks like a trap, doesn't it?
If you want noise, there are probably more appealing noises than explosions.
True, like some little trapped animal or poor person it could eat or something.
Yeah, that's less dark than what I was thinking. Let's go with that.
What were you thinking?
Crying baby.
Would it even
You are
recognize
fucked up today.
that?
Are you okay?
I don't know.
You've been really weird all afternoon. Is there anything going on? Like, do you need to talk about anything?
We might have killed a lot of people quite recently. I think it's a little bit in my head.
Okay. Probably not the time to have a therapy session, in a sewage tunnel when we're about to kill a giant crab.
No.
But maybe we can go to the pub later and, have a chat. I don't know. Maybe.
While they're
Let's kill
doing
the giant crab first.
Okay.
while they're doing this, Corzin is going to be searching around for a small stone or a pebble on the ground.
It's easy enough to find, essentially like a quarter brick.
Right. Okay. So the portcullis is currently closed, right?
Yes.
Right. He's going to reach through the holes in the portcullis and attempt to lob the stone so it impacts the crate in the middle.
Okay, the crate isn't in the middle, it's right on the northern end, behind the barrier. So the barrier, the north barrier, is actually blocking your view of the crate right now.
Oh, right.
You'd have to enter into the centre of the room to see the crate.
So it's like a little triangle. So there's a barrier on the northern gate, and then there are two barriers, also in a triangle, and then in the
there's the
middle
crate
of that,
in the
there's a
middle.
crate. Okay, cool. I've been drawing that wrong. Right.
So the crate
he
can
hangs
only
onto the
be
pebble just in case.
Yeah.
I mean, as fucked up as it was, a crying baby would do it.
It might work. I don't know.
Scamp, do you want?
Is this where we want to be for this fight?
I think it's a pretty good
grouped
place.
It's where we want to be right now. If the thing's smart enough not to fall for your illusion, then we're gonna have to go in.
Yeah.
And I recommend, if we do that one person stays here and keeps a hand on that portcullis, because if we have to get out of there sharpish, we want to bring it down as quickly as possible so that whatever's following us can't.
You have a point there, actually. This is a good exit route, if nothing else.
Okay, so shall we attempt and draw it out?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Right. Corzin takes his carbine off his shoulder.
Okay. So you're going to create the sound of a wailing baby.
Yeah, in the centre of the room.
Okay, so this is an intelligence investigation check against your spell save DC to perceive whether or not this is a legitimate effect.
And this, dear listeners, is why this podcast is rated 15+.
Yeah.
Yes. Also the swearing.
Yes.
So much fucking swearing.
So much swearing.
Okay.
I'm so bad for that.
I love swearing. I make no
What
apologies.
is your spell save DC?
I believe it's 15.
Natural 19 minus 3, 16.
So close.
It's it had only a 10% chance. Oh no, 15% chance to actually notice this. But you set off the screaming, and there's just about 10-15 seconds of this wailing baby before you kind of twig. No. Apparently, that's not this thing is canny.
I say to Scamp in the sewage tunnel while this wailing baby is happening. Well, if we weren't all traumatised before, we are now. So, that's
So
good.
either it didn't hear, or it did hear and knows it's not real.
Which would be worrying in terms of intelligence.
It wouldn't be beyond it.
But it still then knows something's here, which it might want to come and investigate.
Should we wait a bit and see if it comes out?
Let's hide and wait a bit.
Alright, yeah.
And watch both directions.
I'm inclined to agree.
Okay, so you guys are hiding in this tunnel. Can I have new stealth checks, please, because you're in a new location?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh god, that's terrible.
11.
15.
10.
Oh dear.
Celestia trips over a rock and goes, ow, shit, balls, fuck.
Okay. Corzin.
Yep.
Oh, shit. Oh, no, Corzin, you're the only one with a passive perception.
Aren't we kind of actively looking?
You're actively looking,
We
yeah.
are
Can I
actively
ask you all to
looking.
make a perception check? Corzin
Yeah.
with disadvantage because of the darkness.
Disadvantage. was that?
Corzin
Yeah.
has
Just
disadvantage.
Yeah, Corzin's the only one with disadvantage.
That would be a 3 from me. I'm too busy
9.
nursing my stubbed toe that I've just made with my bad stealth check. So,
That is an 11 and a natural 20, which means
oh, that's so upsetting when that happens, isn't it?
Is that a natural 11 or a total 11 total?
total.
Oh, we should have gone with passive. But we were actively looking.
No, we were. It makes sense.
Okay. Nope. You can't spot it.
Fuck.
Whether it does not, like, you guys wait 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. This thing is patient.
Shall I try another noise? Or another illusion?
I mean, why not, I suppose?
We don't know it heard.
Yeah, why not? Go for it. I mean, probably something different, because we can't imagine it's stupid enough to fall for the same thing twice.
Let's go for a laughing child.
Oh, God.
That's somehow worse.
I don't know.
Aradnea's
what it
tits.
is.
There is something wrong with you, child. We need to have a talk later.
Okay,
Right,
DC 15, right? Was that feels safe?
Yeah.
Okay. It had advantage on this, but only rolled a 17 this time. Because it is the same trick twice.
Yes.
But it seems after you just
it seems to
see,
think no one would be that stupid. So.
Or that this was the original source of the illusion.
there's just a moment where you can just make out rising out of what appears to just be the ground towards the western edge of the tunnel of the central area. So right in front of the open tunnel, you can see a smooth, bulbous, chitinous head with two sort of black eye spots rise just up the surface and sort of peer around for a moment. Seems to clock the three of you and then sinks back under.
Shit.
And you realise although it looks like it's solid flooring in the central chamber, because that's where the water level is, it must have dug a pit that it could hide inside.
So clever.
And it suddenly occurs to you, this is probably the source of all the material for the barricades.
Oh, the big fuck
well,
off
that'll do
hole. Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't really think about where it came
No,
from.
me neither. I didn't. I just assumed that it had been nicking bits off the walls and stuff. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so this
So
is
keep an eye
water.
out
Can
below
we
you.
still see it?
You know where it is, but okay, I'm going to make a hide check for it with advantage because it is a prepared hiding place to see whether it's got its line of sight. Okay. I mean, you can make a new perception check to see if you can spot it, but like you saw the point where it sunk into, but you can't see it from your present location.
Okay.
It's hidden by the water. So you remember, you clearly saw where it popped up, and then it sunk back under.
But for the purposes of a spell for a creature you can see, it won't work.
No, because you don't know its present location.
Okay.
You can guess, but you don't know for certain.
I turn to the other two. Have we realised it's seen us? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seemed to clock the three of you when it appeared.
I turn to the other two and I go, "Is it worth me lighting this whole place up? I mean, I think it's seen us.
Yeah.
I could put some lights in the water so we could see where it is."
Fair shout. I'll
Okay.
cover you.
Yeah, I'm gonna put 2 lights because it's only 40 foot across. So if we're standing at the barricade, it should be fine to do
Yeah.
this. So I've still got the 2 lights near us. I'm also going to put one in the centre of the room, like above the water, and one in the water.
Okay.
I'm going to ready in action that if anything comes out of the water during this whole process, Corzin is going to shoot at it.
All right. As you flick the 2 lights into existence, clearly now somewhat, not clearly, but somewhat illuminating the centre of the room, and the purple light below, you can see the whole of the centre of the chamber has been hollowed out into a pit to make the barricades. This was anyone who tried to move into the centre would have found themselves suddenly treading water. But it's enough to illuminate the full figure of the Chul. And you can see it's sort of an elongated, crab-like figure with 4 long lower legs, scaled sort of tail, thinned tail, a bulbous head on a thick neck, 2 massive pincers about the size... and just a massive tentacles coming from its maw. The whole thing is, it's about the size of a riding horse. And now that you've made it, Corzin, you get an action. You get your attack off immediately because, you've readied an action. No, you've read an action. You get your attack immediately.
Right.
So make an attack roll, please.
Come on.
And then after that, everyone roll initiative.
9.
It's the shot crashes into the water, but it was already like 10 feet under the surface, and the water adds enough resistance that when the bullet finally hits its shell, it just bounces off. Okay, everyone roll initiative, please.
Ooh.
It's not terrible for me.
11.
17.
14.
Okay. So 11, 17 for Scamp, was that?
Yeah.
Okay. Celestia 14 and Corzin 11, and I'll roll for the Chul. Okay.
Good word, Chul.
Okay. The Chul you can see, is getting ready to spurt forwards from underneath the water. But it's still, it's not ready. It's not moving yet. So Scamp, you go first.
I will cast a Phantasmal Force.
Okay. Quick
Ooh,
question.
cool.
So,
If it's within 60 feet of me.
it is within 60 feet of you. It's about 30 feet away from the portcullis. So how are you guys arranged? Because there's only space for 2 of you to stand abreast in this portcullis. Like in the corridor, in the tunnel with the portcullis. So who is there? Are you like in a line? Are there 2 of you at the front, 1 at the back, 1 in the front, 2 at the back? How do you want to position yourself? Because Corzin has to be within 10 feet of it to have shot through.
Yeah, I imagine actually I would be right up against it and would have shot through the grate.
Okay.
In my head, I think I'd have moved up to it to look at where to put the light.
Okay,
Because
so
I think that would make
I'll be
sense.
behind Corzin because I can see over his head.
that's fine. Okay, so Corzin and Celestia, you are sort of 10
Oh,
feet.
we could all stand in a line
Yeah.
in front of each other and still see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love our party so much.
You
Someone
are-
please fan art this, please. Like,
Corzin and Celestia, so you're standing 10 foot back from the portcullis so you can shoot and see through.
Yeah.
Scamp, you are standing behind Corzin. Okay, so Scamp, you cast Phantasmal Force. which is
Exciting.
a particularly satisfying spell to use against a creature which, while it is not animal intelligence, is still quite low intelligence. Okay. P for Phantasmal, not for Prismatic Sphere. That's not what I want. Okay, so this is an intelligence saving throw. That would be a 10, so no. I think.
Lovely.
Okay, so the Chul is currently phantasmaled. And as discussed last time, that means each round you do d6 damage to it, psychic damage to it, until it finally manages to take an action to realise that the phantasm is not real.
And I'm going to make it appear like a small child giggling.
Oh, God.
And presumably just hitting it with this small child's fists. Okay.
With massive claws.
Okay.
Why not?
Yep, small
That's
child,
distressing.
massive claws. Okay.
So upsetting. That's horrible. Half
right.
lobster child.
So it's 1d6 on its turn. Okay, so that makes it Celestia next.
Okay, I'm gonna whirl my gun out of my holster with an unnecessary flourish, as ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna try and take a shot at it.
Okay, go for it.
I'm using my new gun.
You're using with a new gun. Yeah, okay. I'm going to say... Yeah, close enough to you don't need to worry about disadvantage.
Yeah, I don't think so, because it's...
It's within 30 feet.
Yeah, it's
You're fine.
8320, the new ones I've got.
8320 is the musket.
No, that's a musket. What's the...
3090.
3090.
So
Sorry, I'm
yeah,
getting
you're
my
just within
new
range,
weapons
I'm gonna
mixed
say.
up. Okay, so that is a 14. Not
okay,
incredible.
the bullet strikes and hits, passes through the water, slaying it, and just bounces off the armour. This thing is thickly carapaced. Okay.
I'm gonna, and as my bonus action, I am going to turn to the others, stick my leg up on a bit of the barricade, lean on it, blow the smoke off my gun, and go, "We got this, guys!" and give them a wink. And I'm going to give myself a wondrous appearance and use my mantle of inspiration
on the portcullis.
Yeah,
And-
and stylishly blow the smoke away, and you feel fantastic and get 5 temporary hit points because I look so fucking good right now.
Corzin, you see the rainbow spirit briefly take on the form of a rainbow cloak, spinning, flailing. What's the word I want to go? Fluttering behind.
Fluttering is more of a word than
fluttering
flailing.
behind,
Flailing is a
Celestia.
different thing.
And for a very brief moment, Scamp, you can see this too before it fades.
No way! Oh my god.
Oh.
That's cool.
Okay, so wondrous
I'm imagining
appearance.
like Doctor Strange's cloak.
Yeah.
Oh, fun. Love that.
Okay, Corzin.
Alright.
Unless you want to move at all, Celestia.
I'm happy where I am, thank you.
Is it still beneath the water?
Yeah, it's making its way forwards, but it's after you on its turn.
Alright. I am going to try and reload my carbine and fire again.
Okay, yep. You do. Roll your attack roll.
Oh, that's much better. That's a 22.
That hits! Roll damage.
Alright. That is 9 percussive.
Nice. Okay. For one of the shots finally cracks the chitin, and just a little bit of bluish blood escapes. Okay. Ha! I should have paid attention to this. None of... okay, that is an interesting thing. Okay, I should have noticed this with the earlier minor illusions, but this does come into effect with the phantasmal force. Okay, so first of all, the Chul takes 1d6 psychic damage. If you'd like to roll that, Scamp.
Oh, 6.
Nice. Okay. You can just faintly see. You and no one else can just faintly see the outline of this clawed child tearing at the Chul's flesh, leaving deep gouges that only it can see. Make an insight check, Scamp.
Oh dear. 4!
Okay, nope, you don't notice anything interesting. The Chul resolutely ignores the child and charges straight for the three of you until it hits the portcullis. It takes its two pincers, sticks them under the portcullis, and heaves.
Ooh.
It's going to make an athletics check to lift the portcullis. That was cocked. Slowly but surely,
Shit.
it lifts the portcullis up. That's its action for this turn. It's just holding the portcullis up. Can't move any further forwards until next turn. Okay, Scamp, you're up first.
Okay, I will give a chromatic orb a go. And let's Tides of Chaos it.
Oh, nice. Okay, Tides time.
To give myself advantage, I'm going to do this at second level.
Okay.
Yeah. Whew. I'm glad I've got the advantage. That's a 19.
That does hit. Roll damage. What damage type do you use?
Let's have a think. Let's not be too loud. So I will go for cold damage.
Okay. An icy orb flickers forth from the diamond ring and strikes the chitin, leaving sort of crack marks all over it as it's suddenly deep frozen.
Huh, interesting. Okay. 14, 18, 22.
Ooh.
Fucking nice, mate.
2 4s, 2 7s.
Good roll.
Frustrating.
You can see one of its pincers suddenly begins to jerk erratically as if reacting to the cold, but still fighting. This thing takes a lot of punishment. Okay, unless you want to move, or take a bonus action, that makes it Celestia's go.
I'll back up very slightly.
Okay, how many feet?
How far from it
You
am
are currently 15 feet. 15 feet from it.
I'll go 5 feet. 5
Okay,
feet.
you're now 20 feet from it. Alright. That makes it Celestia's go.
Okay. I'm gonna look at it in its... Does it have eyes?
It has 2 black eye spots either side.
I'm going to look in one of its eye spots because I assume I can look in one of them at one time. And I'm going to raise a finger to my lips and I'm going to go shh. And I'm going to cast Dissonant Whispers.
Okay.
And see if it works. So it's a wisdom save.
Wisdom saving throw. 4.
Hey! Okay. So it takes 3d6 psychic damage and must immediately use its reaction, if available, to move as far as its speed allows away from us.
Oh, nice.
Shit, it's a bollocks roll. I mean, it's not too bad a roll. 8. No, it's 9 damage.
Okay, that still makes
And it takes all of it
difference.
because,
So that's 56. Okay, its head twitches suddenly and it pulls back, the portcullis dropping shut in front of it as it moves 30 feet back into the water.
Nice.
That was a very good use of Dissonant Whispers.
Very.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
it's the first time it's worked, so everybody else is saved.
Okay, it's going to do something different than this time. Okay, so Corzin.
Right, well this changes slightly what I was planning to do. He is going to shoulder the carbine and off his other shoulder take the blunderbuss.
Yes.
He is going to put regular shot, like
Yep,
one
you got a
regular
slug shot.
slug into it.
Yep.
And I believe that means that it's just
This
60.
it's 30 feet kind of 40 feet away from you right now, so it'd be with disadvantage because it's 20 feet without disadvantage unless you want to hold the shot until it comes within 20.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Okay. You ready the blunderbuss and wait.
And he's there going, come on.
Okay. And it very obligingly, takes 1d6 psychic damage.
Is it within 5 feet of the illusion? Because if it's not, it stops taking the damage. It can move out of the range of it.
Oh, I didn't realise it could.
Forward, but it moved back.
I guess it did, because it moved its full speed forward, then moved its full speed back.
Into the other horrible, creepy illusion that we've made.
So yes, it's back in psychic damage range. I didn't realise you could leave the range of that, or I would have done that with this. Okay, so this is.
But previously they thought it was a creature attacking them, so moving away would give an attack of opportunity. So
okay, we'll say that.
Yeah, for people to attack the illusion.
Yeah, fair enough. So yeah, I guess it does. It's really annoying because it automatically knows this is an illusion.
Oh, does it?
I'm not honestly sure.
Oh, if it knows, it ends, doesn't it?
Okay, then no, it ignores the effect because it know. Does it know it's an illusion? No, because the strict wording of its special ability, which Corzin didn't roll high enough to know about, means that it knows it's magic. Doesn't necessarily know it's an illusion. Could be a summon.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be a summoned child. Summoned demon child.
Ew.
Roll a d6.
4.
Nice.
Yeah. Better on these this time.
Okay, the supposedly summoned demon child sinks its claws into it. Okay, the Chul obligingly runs within 20 feet of the blunderbuss. Make your attack roll. As it charges back forwards.
Okay, there's 25 to hit.
That does
Nice.
hit. Roll damage.
Thank God that
Okay,
hits.
that's
Can you imagine?
3d6.
Yep. 3d6 percussive.
12 points of damage.
Crack! It splinters the chitin, leaving a deep hole. That said, this thing does not easily acknowledge when it's being injured in the slightest. Okay, one moment. There's a specific thing I'm looking for here. This is one of those things which if I'd been sensible and remembered to, I'd have put on my DM screen. Okay, I'll just do it.
Shouts at it after he shoots it. This snack bites back.
Okay, I'm going to do this from memory then. Okay. Got it. Okay, it charges forwards and it takes its two pincers, punches them into the portcullis and attempts to tear.
Ooh.
Okay, so these are two pincer attacks. Yep, that hits. But that one misses. Okay, so one hit, one miss. It does... Okay, 13 points of damage to the portcullis. Not enough to tear it immediately open.
Useful to know.
Yeah. So it's tearing the portcullis, and the portcullis has actually been torn open in the centre, enough that maybe Corzin could pass through, but not quite enough for a Chul to pass through.
Right.
That is its turn, however. Can't do any more than that right now. Okay, so that makes it Scamp's go.
Okay. I've not done this one before. I'm going to cast a frostbite spell.
Ooh.
Nice.
What's frostbite
This is new. How exciting.
So it's a con save.
Con save. Right.
This thing's probably pretty good at.
Reasonably, yes. That's a 16.
Yeah, never mind.
Does it have any effect? Is this
No,
in...
it's cantrip.
Oh, is it a cantrip? Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Then nope. You try and focus in on the ice you've already laid in it and spread that further, but this thing is too enraged, just tearing open this portcullis to care.
Balls.
Okay, unless you've got a bonus or anything you want to do, I'll move on.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm good.
You are 20 feet from the portcullis and from it. Everyone else is 10 feet away from it. Celestia.
I'm going to look at it in its other eye socket and go, no. And cast Dissonant Whispers this time at 2nd level because we're being risky.
Okay, so this
So
is wisdom again.
save, yep.
Nice.
Natural 1.
Yes!
Okay, so back into the demon child. And how much damage does it take?
46, so bear with me. Oh, that's really good, guys. That's 12, 17, 19.
Excellent.
I rolled 2 6s and a 5. And a 2, but still, most of them were really good.
Oh, this thing is screeching. It's like...
I'm imagining the
As it
word no
crawls
just
away.
being repeated over
Yeah,
and over again
it's
for
sort
like a couple of seconds.
It beats its own head with its claws as it's pulling back, doing some of the damage.
I like this spell.
Okay, yeah, that is... Ooh. And again, it pulls it neatly away from the portcullis, which does have a hole in the middle of it now. Okay.
I'm going to turn to, as my bonus action, I'm going to turn to Corzin and go, shoot it in the fucking face, and I'm going to give him inspiration.
Okay.
Nice.
Corzin, you're inspired, and it is once again 30 feet away from you. Although the blunderbuss does take a turn to reload. So
I'm just going to go with the carbine this time.
okay, go for it.
Alternating these two would be interesting. Okay, that's another 25.
Oh, that hits. Roll damage.
That's a 12 points of damage.
Okay. Finish it.
No way!
Had exactly 12 hit points left.
Alright, as it is scampering back, sort of thrashing at its carapace, Corzin lines it up, and just as it comes to its senses, he lets fly the slug. It catches it straight through one of its eyes, and you see an exit wound at the back of its chitin explode.
Yeah. There is a burst of blue at the back of its head, and then it splashes into the water, sending a small wave crashing out from its bulk. Oh, that portcullis was good. It actually it had actually managed to tear it open enough that on its next round it could have reached through, and it had enough reach to grab Celestia.
Oh yeah, no,
Which is
I know.
totally what I was going to do next.
Or Corzin.
We rolled
Yeah.
just very
Well, what's
luckily
frostbite?
on that one.
Oh, that was good.
Frostbite gives it disadvantage if it bloody works.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh well.
You take a moment.
We were so lucky in that fight.
Having come out surprisingly ahead, by and large. From
Yeah,
in
did
this
any of us
particular
take
fight.
damage? I don't think... No.
No, nothing.
You look down at your
We
surprisingly
rolled
intact
so well, and
clothing.
it rolled really badly on its saves, which helped.
Your clothing, which is...
We were lucky we didn't just walk into that room because we totally could have.
Oh my
Yeah.
god! So I was like, until we thought of the portcullis cover, like I was totally going to.
The moment you would have stepped through the barricade, you'd have there was just a water pit there,
Such a good defense.
which you can
though.
now see, so I can reveal that. Okay. Oh, this is going to be interesting. The portcullis is now 2 damaged to raise properly.
Do we need to raise it?
I mean, up to you how you want to go into the room. If
Do
you
we
want
need
to go,
to go
at all.
into the room?
Technically, yeah, it is dead. Up to you whether you want to investigate its lair or not.
I can fit through. Let's
Oh,
make sure
true.
it didn't lay any eggs.
Yeah, make an
fair.
athletics or acrobatics check, Corzin.
Athletics is slightly better. Although not today, it would seem. That's gonna be a 13.
Okay, you take 2 points of damage as you force your way through it, just from the jagged bits of metal, but you push the hole a little bit wider.
Can I just try blasting it with fire and making the hole bigger?
Yeah, I mean, I can just let you do this. If you want to spend 5 minutes just repeatedly firebolting it to heat the metal up, and then pushing it open.
Jewel 0, portcullis 1.
The portcullis did more damage to you than the Chul did.
Oh my god, that's ridiculous. Can I fit through if she does firebolts on it? Or
I'm going to say that, yeah, you take some
Like, if
time
we take a
to
bit of
heat the
time to do
metal, you use just some bricks to push the now softened iron aside, wait for it to cool. You guys aren't in a rush. And after about 20 minutes of work and waiting for it to cool back down, or indeed not, I guess you can use frostbite, you are able to make your way through.
Actually, if it's heating and cooling that fast...
It's going to shatter
That's true.
if I alternate the spells.
Okay, and you just shatter... Yeah, okay, and it's still taking 10 minutes. You selectively shatter portions of the portcullis. This wouldn't necessarily work with a solid metal wall, but with this old, rusty portcullis, works well enough.
Nice. Okay, Corzin presumably is... What? He knows the pit is there, so can he avoid it?
I mean, there's not really a way of avoiding it, but now that you know it's there, you can just swim instead of falling in.
Right, okay.
So you usually do. There is a pathway between... So yeah, from here, in the centre, there is the body of the Chul, which is floating still. There's apparently enough left in its swim bladder, or however that works, with Chuls, to keep it up on the surface. I mean, I guess you could harvest it for chitin if you have a particular use for that, but otherwise this is... Yeah.
Okay, Corzin is going to go up to it. Is it just sort of like bobbing on the top
It is
of the
just
water?
bobbing on the top of the surface.
gross.
He spits on it.
Okay. Yeah, more clearly now with the light from the centre, you can see in between the sort of triangle barricade to the north, there is a small mound upon which has been placed a large crate. And you can see that in that crate there are a large number of bottles, about 24 bottles, and loosely sprinkled over them are a lot of silver coins. At least a couple of hundred.
Can I
of them.
take a couple of minutes to sit and cast Detect Magic?
Okay.
So that's on the crate.
Yeah, it's just been sprinkled over.
Oh my
the
god, that's
bottles.
so bait. Like, come on.
Yeah, this is. Look at it.
I don't need to roll an insight check
It is
for this.
very
Like, come on.
obviously human
Yeah.
bait.
I mean, it's an intelligent creature, but it's not subtle.
Also,
That's
it's an
intelligent.
intelligent creature that doesn't necessarily think humanoids are intelligent. I get the impression.
Yeah.
Like, it's like he's trying to trap humans in the same way you'd trap like a rabbit or whatever. Like, he's like, oh, this will bring it in, be fine. Like, you know.
But yeah, there's looking at it, there's probably at least 200 silver pieces and 24 bottles of what? I mean, make a perception check, Corzin.
Alright. That's gonna be a 22.
Okay, 24 bottles of Orcus Exo Reserve.
Nice.
A particularly fancy brandy valued at 5 gold pieces a bottle.
We
No,
cannot
what
carry
fantasy.
that many.
I mean, they are in, actually, they're in a small crate. Like, you know, this stuff is good rather than
Between
big.
us,
but,
we could.
But
We're
yeah,
gonna
like,
look super weird carrying it.
it's, you know,
Who's
bigger
gonna be
backpacks.
looking? We're in the middle of a storm drain.
yeah, it's
but
it's
what
just
happens when we
24
get
bottles.
out?
It's essentially just like a large crate.
Do it bit by bit. We don't have to take it all upstairs in one go, and we could get horribly drunk this evening.
Well,
Captain Brandy
is
did
this-
instruct us to get drunk.
True.
He
That's
did
true.
say that he expected us to. I don't want to let my captain down, personally.
It's mutiny, essentially. But
It is. Serious crime.
if ever you even consider mutineering, expect to be shot in the back of the head while you're sleeping.
I mean, I don't think he'll even bother to wait till we're sleeping, will he? I mean, he just shot those two that pissed him off the other day.
My point being is he is not going to be a gentleman about it.
Okay.
Whereas he is most of the rest of the time, as you will have
Yeah.
probably noticed.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna look for magic things.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to make
detecting
sure
magic.
that there aren't any Chul eggs here.
Looking. Okay,
I'm
make
going
an
to help with
investigation
Corzin,
check.
actually. That's,
Okay, yeah.
that's
So
important. Yeah.
can I have you an investigation check with advantage then for that, please?
Right.
Scamp. No.
13?
Okay, 30. Let me take a look. Okay, there are no Chul eggs. You search. You take a breath. Bring the and with the aid of the dancing lights, you're able to search the whole of the bottom of this central bit of the chamber.
Yeah, I imagine I leave one by Scamp,
Yeah,
put one in
because
the
you
middle, and have
haven't
two
gone
following
into the
each of
north.
us.
I'm assuming you haven't gone through the southern barrier or the northern barrier yet.
No.
No, just the middle.
But no, searching the whole middle bit, the whole lower bit, there are no Chul eggs.
Is there any part of the Chul, other than maybe its chitin, which is potentially of value to anyone?
Possibly. I mean, with the nature check you already made, you know that its tentacles do exude paralyzing spit. So it would be a survival check to try and safely extract the tentacles, and you
Doing it.
probably want to see an alchemist about getting that slime preserved.
Yep.
Okay, make a survival check, please.
Ooh, dirty 20.
That's okay. You don't need to.
Why do people not call them dirty 20s? We should start doing that as a
Dirty
thing. That's
20.
much better than
Okay.
unnatural.
Okay,
20.
you don't paralyze yourself.
Okay, that's good. Well,
That would have been particularly problematic because you've dragged. I'm assuming you've dragged the Chul body off to the side so you don't have to tread water. But even so,
yeah, it's
Yeah.
floating, but
yeah. Okay, you successfully retrieve. Rolled a d6 for this. 6 Chul tentacles, all of which seem to be covered in slime.
So she just sort of stands back and wrinkles her nose at you and goes, "Ugh."
Yeah, what do you want to put these in?
I'm
'Cause
telling
each-
you right now,
each
darling,
one
I'm
is a foot long.
telling you right now, darling, I'm not
Oh.
touching that. No part of me is touching that. Whoa.
I would advise no part of you do touch this.
Yeah, you're
Although-
carefully touching this with your gloves.
Yeah. Although, if you were to coat, for example, your blade in the secretions of this, you've got a very good neurotoxin.
Nice. Probably get that to an alchemist then, shouldn't we?
Yes, although, are we gonna... Do you think... Is there room in a crate for this?
Yeah, I mean, if you put some of the bottles in your backpack...
Yep, happy to do that.
Yeah, I'm going to
Right.
put some bottles in my backpack as well.
Okay, you'll need to get to the crate first, which is in the northern triangle.
Right, okay.
I am a
And
bit
if you
worried
wouldn't
about
mind-
touching the crate.
Do I see any magic?
You do not see any magic. Sorry, we got distracted with tentacle discussions. There is no magic in the area that you can see.
Hey, some goods coming from tentacles.
Yeah.
Oh.
No magic.
Corzin,
That-
you
that-
notice,
that's
is looking
helpful.
particularly pleased with himself.
Okay.
Celestia turns to you. What are you fucking smiling about?
Okay, so which of you wants to go pick up the crate?
Justice.
I'll go look at the crate.
Okay. As you make your way up towards the crate.
Be
You
super
kind of-
careful.
Okay. Okay, well, one moment. Okay. There is a moment as you pass through the narrow point between the two barricades where your foot snags on something, and you can just see how nestled in the barricades there was a selection of what appear to be spikes carved from human thigh bones, which immediately launch down upon your passing through as you trigger the trap. Okay, just sort of a selection of 4 thigh bone spears ram into you,
Shit.
dealing...
Who are they ramming into? All of us?
No. Into Scamp, dealing 11 points of piercing damage and restraining you. Which would be a lot more of a problem if the Chul were alive and you'd fallen into its trap while it was waiting in its pit.
And if I didn't have Misty Step.
Yeah, it's actually...
Which is great for this kind of thing.
Yeah, as you're not in a rush, however, it's actually very easy for the other two to just pry this...
There's a lot of like holding on to you and going, okay, you ready? 1, 2, 3.
I immediately forgot how much damage you said, because I'm an idiot.
11, I think
11,
it was.
yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
I went, right, that's a number, and then didn't write it.
We've all done that from time to time.
Yeah.
Yeah. However, with that trap out of the way, you are easily able to pick up the crate with, as it turns out, 300 silver pieces and 24 bottles of Orcus Exo.
Nice. 100 each?
Yep.
Nice. Yes. So 100 silver each was that, sorry. I'm having a moment.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
So carefully, take out a couple of bottles and drape the tentacles.
I take slightly more bottles than is strictly necessary to take to fit the tentacles in.
Yeah.
Corzin doesn't even question that at this point.
Okay.
Good whiskey, darling.
With that done, you are able... It's in a simple matter to... which way do you want to leave, is the next question.
Move back the way we came?
Something's troubling me, though.
What do you mean?
Well, there was only one Chul, we know that.
Yeah.
But there were people sent in.
Where's the people?
We know, we can see
Well, I mean,
some
there's
of
at
them
least
over
2
there.
of them, isn't there? Maybe 4 from the bones.
5 bones over there, but where are the
Make
rest?
an investigation check.
Should I do it again?
Yeah.
But
With
I'm guessing you 2 are
advantage.
helping?
All of us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
5.
13.
Okay, you can guess where the meat went, but now that you look closely, you can see the barricades aren't just made of brick and rubble. There's bones in there, and you can just make out a half-shattered skull.
I go, I think we might have found some of them at least.
Ignoble end, but I suppose at least that means they're not going to be coming back giving us any trouble.
They're not wandering around.
Although,
At least we know.
though I felt a lot of them. So be on your guard still.
Okay, good to
We
know.
don't know it was down here, though. We know it was within a mile.
That's true.
Yeah, they could be anywhere.
Although, no, come on, if they were walking around on the surface, people had noticed that, surely.
Well, we don't know they're walking around. They could be stationary in a house somewhere. It could be someone weird building an army in a warehouse. It could be something in the sewers. It could be the actual army. I don't trust the buggers.
Actually, that's a point. There are reanimators in the army, and they would potentially have they definitely have a garrison here, but...
I mean, if they had the big beast thing, they look fairly well equipped, army-wise. I mean, a reanimator's common. Like, would I know this? I don't think I would I?
Make a history check.
Probably not. 12?
I mean, you've heard of the reanimators. It's a sort of... it's the resurrectionists or reanimators. It's a slang term for military employed necromancers. From what you understand, they're mostly like the resurrectionist regiments, that are composed of large bands of skeletons and zombies led by living troops. And staffed by the resurrectionist doctors of necromancy, tend to stay on the fronts. They don't hang around very populated areas that much because, having corpses hanging around tends to unsettle people, even if those corpses are under iron-bound control.
Yeah. But Scamp is right, though. We don't know where they are. They might not be down here. But maybe back the way we came is safe. Because then we have... Well, frankly, we know where it comes out. It comes out of that safe house that we got into.
We could always go and ask them, do you know if there's an army of the undead in your sewers?
I mean, I'm not going to suggest that. I was going to suggest, could we please go back and see the lady and tell her that we did the thing, so that she can start gathering information. I mean, it might be worth mentioning it to her while we're there and seeing if she knows anything about it, or if she, if she doesn't, she probably should.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But all the same, for now,
Keep on guard.
Your wits about you.
Scamp, are you okay? Do you need any help with that? I gesture at her wounds. Their wounds, sorry.
I'm feeling alright, to be honest, but I do feel a bit weirdy magic-y, so keep an eye out for weird stuff.
Okay, good to know. In a
Business
tunnel in
as
the dark.
usual.
Right?
Yep. Okay, I'll wait for the opportune moment. So,
You're a bad man.
yeah, or failing that when you go to
Terrible
sleep.
person. So mean.
You you head back out through the portcullis, which is good because you'd have set off the collapsed the collapsing barricade trap if you'd gone in through the south entrance. Or
Leave that for someone else to find.
or the other collapsing trap if you'd gone through the west entrance.
I like there not being trapped. We don't know this either. We can't warn them.
Nope, you don't know
But-
this.
I mean, we can warn them there were traps.
You can definitely warn them they were traps.
There
and-
were traps
they
in
will-
general.
Investigate.
Yeah, they will send their own people to investigate. But you
You're
make
probably smarter than us, let's
Okay.
face it.
you make your way back up to the surface and heading out. It is now dusk. You've been down there. You've actually been down there quite a while with all of the faffing around and different things. Plus, it's getting night. Dark is coming earlier now that you're heading towards winter. As you make your way out and start to head back towards the statue garden, Corzin, you notice a large, hooded, sort of cloaked figure, probably about 6 foot, maybe 6'7", 6'8",
Ooh.
in an alleyway, seeming to clock your your emergence. And as you head on your way, you do notice them start to follow you.
Does it have a scythe over its shoulder?
Is there a white horse anywhere?
No, it's an ordinary brown cloak and quite heavy set kind of brown and grey clothes. Someone who's dressed as best they can, given their size, to avoid attracting attention.
Alright.
Not bad.
Am I the only one who notices this?
I'm gonna say it's.
My passive is 11, so probably not.
Yeah, you're the one who notices this, but you can easily alert the others if you wish.
Right, okay. I say... Keep walking casual. There is a very tall man behind us in a brown cloak.
Okay. I mean, should we just ask him what he wants? That usually tends to stop people following you.
I mean, unless he wants to murder us in an alley,
In which case he can't do it in broad daylight in the middle of the street, can he?
I mean, daylight is swiftly disappearing, but...
Just keep walking. I will attempt to peel off and double back.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so
That is
are you planning to sort of track him from behind while he's following?
Yeah,
the
what I'm
other two?
attempting to do is use the cover of the other two who are bigger than me to peel off in the crowd, and then come into step behind him.
Okay.
I'm going to start being very distracting and doing little magic tricks with prestidigitation to, from an outward glance, entertain Scamp. So I'm going to do
Okay,
little
I'm gonna
puffs
give-
of smoke
I'm gonna
in my
give-
hands, and I'm going to do little musical notes and stuff happening.
Okay, I'm going to give you advantage on your stealth check, Corzin.
That would be 17.
Okay, you peel off as as you're working your way into a street with more of a sort of crowds of people heading home or heading off to the pubs, and you use the cover of the crowd to pull behind until now you're following the heavy-set figure. They don't seem to have immediately clocked that you've gone, and you're just following the two larger.
Can
types.
I discern any other details about this guy now that I'm actually viewing them from
Oh,
behind?
okay. So this is I'm going to say this is no, this is insight.
Insight, okay. Like, is this a man? Is this a woman? Is this two children posing as an adult?
Is it three gnomes in a trench coat? Like,
Oh, I so hope it is.
that'd be so good. I would love that.
Insight 15.
Okay. Yeah, this figure, it's tall. There's something about the way they move, something about their gait that makes you think female rather than male.
Okay.
They've deliberately kept their hood up, but there's something a little strange about their silhouette. You're not. They don't look human. They're too broadly built to be straight up human. Could be an orc, could be a dragonborn. They're covering enough of their skin that a dragonborn would be able to get away with looking broadly humanish, and they're certainly tall enough to be one.
The dragonborns tend to be quite tall.
They tend to be, yeah.
Ah.
The females in particular. There's a slight amount of sexual dimorphism, which leads to dragonborn women being taller. And that seems to follow up because you're pretty sure you can just make out, just from the way that their cloak moves at the back, you think they might have a tail as well.
Alright. Dragonborn don't generally tend to have tails, though, do they?
Some do, some don't. It seems
Okay.
to vary by pretty much essentially randomly. I think there's whether they're from from the North Dragon Archipelago or the South.
Right, okay. Well, I'm going to keep pace with them and see if they follow us.
Okay. Okay, so the two of you at the front, do you want to try and lose this figure or just make your way back towards the statue garden?
I'm not sure I'd want to go where we were actually going if I knew we were being followed, so I think I'm going to keep walking past the statue garden as though we're heading towards like the marketplace or something.
Okay.
And just keep being super distracting, like juggling little dancing lights in front of Scamp's face and like mucking about as though I'm doing a little show.
The figure does
Giving my
continue
hood
following.
well up. Giving the beard.
Yeah.
All of that fun stuff.
Okay, the figure is following the pair of them, continues to follow them into the marketplace. Once, if you guys like stop at a store or anything, the figure also stops. Just seems to be tailing you.
Should we
I am
split
not
up and see
liking
who he
this.
follows?
That's not a bad shout, actually.
Let's just split up around the marketplace and re-meet at the other side and see who he follows.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I'm going to go over to one side and look at something.
Okay.
Sweets. I'm going to the sweets.
I'll go to the booze if there's a booze stand.
There is!
Brilliant.
With a variety of boozes. Okay. Make a perception check to see if you can spot where this figure is now that you're splitting.
Can I just see? because
Oh, you can just see your follow. You've been tracking them the whole time.
15.
8.
Okay, Celestia, you lose sight of them for a moment when you split. But Scamp and Corzin, you can see that the figure is trailing now towards Scamp.
Alright.
I don't like this.
Again, keeping pace with them. Hand resting nonchalantly on, it would look like from the outside, just hands on hips or like held behind one's waist, but what I'm actually doing is surreptitiously having one hand on the butt of one of the pistols that I have.
Okay, I'm gonna
attempt to cast a minor illusion.
Okay.
Oh, it's 5 feet. I'm less than 5 feet tall. Excellent.
Yeah.
Of myself in the space where I am, and then duck out of sight and just see if it.
Okay, make a
what happens.
stealth check with advantage, please.
How crowded is this market?
It's still fairly crowded, but it's starting to peter out as the lights go.
It's just the problem if anyone walks through it, you know.
Yeah. Well, everyone can see it, so it looks like a stationary person.
Yeah.
If anyone tries, they'll see it.
It's just if anyone bangs into it, if
great.
it was crowded
Yeah.
is what I was thinking.
I just want to see how this person reacts.
Okay.
So it's a 14.
Okay, they as you make your way, as you quickly leave your illusory double in place and move away, the figure is just watching the illusory double, just continuing to holding back and just keeping.
Have I seen them do this, Scamp?
Make another perception check to see if you can beat Scamp's stealth, which is 14, I think.
That's a natural one.
You can't you can't see Corzin, you can't see Scamp, you can't see this figure.
Run around the market like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, the two of you can see Celestia now sort of panically looking around.
Thinking you've both been murdered or something.
It's like that situation when you're a kid and you're in the shopping centre.
Oh, and you lose your mum and you're like, where's mum? Yeah, I think you're both dead. Like, I'm running around the market looking for you. Help!
I'm going to drop the illusion and see what happens. Because it only lasts a minute, so I'm going to go in a second anyway.
As the illusion drops, the figure and about 3 other people who happen to idly notice out of the corner of their eyes suddenly seem to double take. And I'm going to ask you to roll a D100, please.
Oh! I've got a new D1. Well, I've got 2 new D10s. 47.
Ooh.
40? That sounds familiar.
It does. I feel like we've had 47.
I feel like I recently listened back to what 47 was, but let me see.
Yeah, we haven't.
Really
subtle. Really subtle.
Are you like really big? Is that what it is?
No. Okay, so the figure, as the people of the marketplace are now staring at this disappearing figure, or this disappearing dwarf. Scamp, you look to the side and you can see, almost unnoticed, seemingly unnoticed by anyone else, in an alleyway nearby, is a tall, sort of noble-looking white horse with a horn protruding from its
Go
forehead.
away! Shoo!
Oh, we have had that before.
Shoo!
The horse tilts its head and sort of looks at you, then looks directly towards the kind of hooded figure, and and makes a sort of nudging motion with its horn.
What? No, go! Shoo! Shoo!
It nudges again insistently. You get this sort of look of concern from its eyes.
They're following me! That's never a good thing.
And the unicorn wickers again. Turns and plops away down into an alleyway and is gone.
Oh.
Meanwhile, you can see that the hooded figure is now just like desperately looking through the marketplace, trying to catch sight of Scamp.
Did any of us see the unicorn?
Make a perception check, both of you.
No. That's a 6. I'm really not doing well.
That's a natural 1.
No.
Shitting hell. We're really
Actually, no, I'm going to roll the luck.
Roll luck! Yes, use your halfling luck.
Halfling luck! Yay!
Alright, that's slightly better perception. 16.
Okay, because you've been keeping an eye on Scamp and you see where actual Scamp is as this happens, you follow that eye line and just towards you only catch the tail end of this moment, you just see what appears to be a tall white horse with a horn staring at Scamp, wickering and then turning and walking away down an alleyway.
Coulson does a whole... What? To himself, Coulson goes, well, I have several questions now.
I imagine Celestia is still running around the marketplace looking for both of you and hasn't seen any of this with how bad those perception checks were.
Okay. Yeah, so Celestia is still running around looking. The hooded figure is now kind of pushing his way through figures in the marketplace, just trying to look around and see if he can find you, Scamp. Can I ask you to roll a new stealth check if you want to remain...
Everyone?
No, just Scamp.
11.
Okay, after kind of a degree of pushing and shoving around, she seems to clock you, Scamp. Scamp, I'd like you to roll an insight check.
Different dice. Ooh. What was it? Dirty 20? Was that the
dirty
I
20.
really love this and we have to start
It's a
calling it
non-natural
that.
20.
It's a dirty 20, that's what it is. Dirty.
Okay.
We're a 15 plus podcast. It can be a dirty 20.
Just under the hood, there's a moment where when the figure locks eyes with you, Scamp, that you see a face with deep red skin and two glowing yellow iris and pupilless blank eyes. And then they immediately begin moving towards you in the crowd.
Oh.
I'm going to keep pace with them again as they do this.
I'm still looking for you both in the fucking marketplace because I'm an idiot, so I'm just going to run around some more.
Can I see...
Okay, because they are no longer trying to be that stealthy now that they've actually clocked sight with Scamp, you see the figure and from there are able to work out where Scamp is.
I can see
You
them walking towards Scamp.
You see where they're walking and then follow and realise they're making a beeline for Scamp.
Okay, I'm going to go and I'm literally going to stand in front of Scamp.
I'm going to run because I couldn't decide whether it was freeze up or run, and so I rolled a dice, so I'm running.
Okay,
I'm just going to panic.
Make an athletics check. They're going to try and do the same.
Go well.
Or an acrobatics check, I guess, if you want to try and weave and use obstacles.
Yeah, let's do that. Acrobatics. Ooh, another dirty 20.
Okay, you weave between people's legs, and this figure is now just getting caught up by the crowd. She's pushing people out of her way, but there's too many of them. You're easily gaining on her. Make another acrobatics check, I guess.
Oh, less good. 9.
Okay, she punches someone outright and then uses the shock this causes to start running after you.
I'm going to run after them.
Yeah.
If that's okay, I'm just going to try and...
Same.
Okay, now...
And my goal is to get in between the hooded figure and Scamp, because obviously I haven't seen who they are.
Okay,
It's just this hooded figure running after Scamp.
make an athletics or acrobatics check, because again, there's a degree of... I mean, to be honest...
That's an 8. I've rolled so badly for this whole encounter. I've not rolled anything above a 10.
You're kind of getting caught in the crowd as well, Corzin.
Right, athletics or acrobatics?
To be honest, you're chasing... No, acrobatics, because you're small enough to weave.
Parkour.
Oh, if it was athletics, that's even less that I got a 6, but it doesn't really matter at that point.
Athletics is better for me, so maybe it's better that I just sprint.
Yeah.
Okay, that's 14.
Okay, you keep pace with the figure, but they're closing on Scamp. Scamp, can you give me another athletics or acrobatics? And by this point, you're at the edge of the marketplace. Do you want to head down wide open streets or try to make it for an alleyway?
Alleyways.
Okay, make it for an alleyway.
Ooh, and it's acrobatics still, or is it
Yeah,
back to athletics now?
I guess acrobatics, if you want to try. Yeah, there's carts and things you can try and run behind.
If it's acrobatics, it's a 21.
Okay, you're easily able to shove carts behind you and get in the way. And this figure starts chasing you down the alleyway, gets caught on the cart, shoves it to the side with enough force to crack this handcart, and chases after you. Once you're down into the alleyway, you hear them call out.
Wait! I only wish to talk!
Up to you whether you want to keep running or not.
Oh, I don't know. Let's roll another
Do
dice. 'cause
either
I
of us
genuinely
hear
don't-
this?
You can both hear this, yeah, you're keeping pace with her. Make another check, actually, to see whether you can catch up.
Okay.
Fucking hell. This 10. Like, really. Celestia is just being so useless in this encounter.
19.
Okay, you are able to get, within 30 feet of her. You're Corzin, you're racing up right behind you.
Can I
Pull
still
out
see
the-
them?
You can see them still.
Okay, cool. I'm just really far back.
Yeah.
I casual hand on the pistol hilt again. Call out to them. You just want to talk? Start yakking, friend. What's your deal?
She looks back at you and then to Scamp, just holding out a hand. And you can see it's thickly gloved.
Please, don't run. I just wish to talk.
Are we deserted alleyways? Are there other
Deserted
people around?
alleyways, yeah.
Okay, can I elbow my way in at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
I'm going to stop running, but I'm going to throw up an illusionary wall of fire between us.
She kind of steps back.
By the Regent.
She kind of looks around, and you can now see with the see now that you're up close, and she's actually shocked enough that her hood drops slightly for a moment. It's just off to one side.
Yeah, my beard's hanging off
Yeah,
on one side.
and you can see there's this. Actually, now that she stops hunching, this 7-foot tall tiefling, hulking with red skin. You can see her one of her horns is exposed, and it's branches like a deer, like antlers from a stag, and she's got thick, mottled skin with hard scale-like patches and glowing yellow iris and pupilless eyes.
Please. Mordecai spotted you.
And she looks back at Corzin and Celestia.
I've got my gun out on
Yeah.
her, I'm not gonna lie.
And she asks you, Scamp,
Can they be trusted?
More than you. You chased me.
I just wanted to talk to you.
she
Then talk.
pushes
Don't follow all creepy and hooded.
She pulls the
Which
hood
is
up.
technically what I do. But sorry.
She pulls the hood up
That was
and kind of
mean.
glances towards the edge of the alleyway, but nobody seems to be coming in.
Look, it is not safe. It was not safe for me to talk to you openly. But Mordecai noticed there was another of us in town. I was sent to talk to you, to invite you back to our home. But I couldn't do it in public. I was waiting for a moment where you would be alone, where I could talk to you.
And she looks back at Corzin and Scamp. Sorry, Corzin and Celestia.
I'm gonna put my gun away.
And gestures and says,
I did not know if your friends could be trusted.
not even... And she again gestures both of them.
Neither of their kinds are accepting of ours.
You're alright with you.
She looks back. Ah, okay, well his... And peers around. Ah, no, I've heard.
Well, his kind certainly is not accepting of ours.
I'm not your typical halfling.
Yeah, no farmer here.
Yeah, that's still racist.
Scamp,
What?
do
Okay,
you know this
look.
person?
No, I've met one tiefling other than me.
Well, it might be good to talk to her.
Don't throw the word around in public. People might come looking for us. Yes, I am one of you. My name is Chase Gramani.
Oh, what's his name said? Yeah. I've heard of you.
Then
Sorry.
Then you know that we are a friend to all others of our kind. We are people, we have to stick together. I came only to invite you back to our home so we could meet you.
Scamp,
Yeah?
have you ever met any other ones other than Calcinea?
No.
Then,
I
darling,
didn't know what I was till about 6 months ago.
I think maybe
No
we
one
should
ever
go
said
and
the
talk
word.
to her. We can come with you.
There is a problem with not saying the name of a species, because you just think you're a monster for your whole life, you know.
I know, and we can say it in private, but if we say it out here, people might hear and then the mobs come.
God, people are fucking stupid, aren't they?
People tend to be mistrustful of things they don't understand. There are parts of the world out there where you or I would be met with just the same hostility as Scamp here.
Suppose that follows.
Well, I don't suppose, for example, if Scamp or I took a brief sojourn down in the Underdark would be particularly safe, now would we?
Scamp would be fine. I give him a look.
Point taken.
Please. This is not the place for such conversations. Allow me to take you and your friends. She seems a little reluctant about this. If they can truly be trusted, allow me to take you back to our home.
And there'll be more of us.
Yes.
There. This is all a bit much.
I am sorry. Normally when our kind visits, they know to come to see us. And we thought that was the case. You went into the brass lantern.
I don't read well.
Mordecai noticed you. He was waiting. He assumed that you couldn't speak because you were with. And she gestures to Corzin and Scamp. So they sent me to speak to you privately.
Hang on, you knew, didn't you? You got funny about the name when I told you what it was, I say to Scamp.
Yeah,
That's why you were being so weird. Why didn't you say anything?
because I don't know anything about what I am. I've been told, as long as I remember, that I'm a monster. How do I know that the rest of them aren't? Or that I won't be, or that I'm not?
You're
We
not.
are not angels, but we look after our own.
Scamp, serious talk now. I've not met that many tieflings, but in my experience, they are as complicated and varied as any other type of folk.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. I've met quite a few. Seem fairly normal. You're not a monster, darling.
You killed a lot of people,
That doesn't make you a monster.
doesn't it?
If you weren't having any reaction, perhaps you would be. But, you are. And I think maybe we should talk to this lady, because neither of us know a lot about what you may be. But she might. And we'll come with you. You don't have to go on your own. Might be good to meet some people and realise that maybe you're not a monster.
I don't think I can meet lots at once. I don't mean to, but I will just run again. Sorry.
Please. You do not have to stay, but it is. Let me at least introduce you to my family. It is important to know that there is a safe place for us here.
Okay, I'll try. But I can't promise I won't run again.
Okay.
I'll be with you, Scamp.
I'm gonna take.
I'm not very fast though.
Yeah, I'm gonna take one of Scamp's hands while we're on the way to the place, and just like hold the little hand like they're a smaller child than they are.
Okay. Follow me. I will take you to the Gramani house. And she begins to lead you.
As we're walking there, I say to her, you don't have to worry about us. We've been travelling with Scamp for a while now.
She seems a little distrustful of the pair of you, but from what you've said and what Scamp has said, seems to be willing to take the risk of trusting you.
Corzin adds, if it weren't for Scamp here, I don't suppose either of the other two of us would be.
Yeah, actually, that's true.
Okay. Chase leads the three of you through a somewhat winding path between different alleyways towards a denser, more industrial part of the city and towards the Gramani compound, the secret, safe home of the tieflings within Crosswater. But that is where we will pick up next time.
Oh.
Thank you all very much for listening. And thank you all very much for playing. And farewell from all of us here at Flintlocks and Fireballs, Fair Seas and Natural 20s. In a city with a lurking beast, there's too much for your eyes to feast. When fighting hatchlings in the den, you might find unexpected kin.
So gather your muskets, gather your spears, we'll plunder the shores of Calcinea. No kraken, storm or spell we fear, so come and sail with us, my dear.